I believe we are here live now on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in. Today is a lovely, what day is it? July 8th, Tuesday, July 8th. Folks, today is going to be a big day, and I'll tell you why. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Today, going on starting in just about 9-10 minutes. If they follow schedule, they might be a little bit late, I suppose. President Trump is going to be holding his first public cabinet meeting. We've watched a couple of those in the past. This is the first public cabinet meeting in well over 2 months. To be specific, it's been a little over 9 weeks, 9.5 weeks since April. April 30th, I believe, is when the last one was. So today is going to be an interesting day. In the last 2 months, things have been a little bit busy for President Trump. Yeah, the conflict in the Middle East. Yeah, all you guys know. We've been talking about it, all types of stuff. And so, I suppose it makes sense why they have not done one of these public cabinet meetings in a little while, because there's been maybe some more pressing matters to take care of. But we are live bright and early today. This is happening at 11 a.m. on the East Coast. Right now, it is almost 8 a.m. on the West Coast. I want you to know I got out of bed early today for this one because I'm excited. I think potentially we have some big things to talk about today, or rather, they are going to talk about some big things, and we will listen and then talk about them afterwards. It's probably the best way to put it. Last night, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, flew over from Israel over to Washington, D.C., here in the United States, and he had a dinner. That was a public broadcast event also last night. I was busy, so we didn't do that one live here. But anyway, they had a public meeting last night in the White House. They had a nice dinner together, and they were talking about the current state in the Middle East and working through issues with Iran. So I imagine we will probably have some information about ongoing negotiations with Iran. I'm not sure. No, I was going to say, is Benjamin Netanyahu going to be at this cabinet meeting today? Don't think so. I don't think that makes sense. But anyway, they met last night, and I'm sure we'll have some updates about the Middle East. Benjamin Netanyahu, yeah, he suggested that President Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize. Now Trump has all types of people trying to throw his name in the hat for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's got the Pakistani government pushing for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's got Benjamin Netanyahu pushing for Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know who else, all types of people. We'll see if that happens. That has been kind of on Trump's radar for a little while. Also, this is less than 3 weeks from now. Trump is set to start actually locking in and firmly imposing his reciprocal trade tariffs on nations across the world. Right now, he already has tariffs on a bunch of places, but the really aggressive reciprocal tariffs, the much more aggressive, larger tariffs, are going into effect in just a couple weeks. And so I would imagine that Trump is going to talk about that today, the tariff game. The big beautiful bill, since the last time we had a public cabinet meeting with President Trump, the big beautiful bill has obviously gotten passed through the House and the Senate, and Trump has signed off on that on July 4th, about 4 days ago. So I imagine we're going to have some big updates about the big beautiful bill today as well, and what all of that means. Also, kind of some concerning news, and this is actually the topic of my video that I'm going to make a little bit later today. I've got the script already written up, ready to go. Right now, folks, this is some bad news. There are some rhinos, some Republicans in name only, that are trying to push President Trump to grant amnesty to a subset of our illegal alien population in the country. It doesn't sound like it's all of them. Right now, you guys know that we have probably a total of 50 million illegal aliens currently in the nation. And there are some rhinos that are trying to push Trump to grant amnesty to some of them. Not all of them, doesn't sound like all of them, but some of them, specifically the illegal alien farm workers. The rhinos are pushing for this. And so President Trump, it doesn't seem like President Trump is going to take the bait, but we're gonna listen today. That might be one of the topics of this cabinet meeting, talking about what are we going to do with some of these farm workers. I don't think it's going to happen. I did a big deep dive on this last night because I said I wrote up a video script for it, so I did a bunch of research into this. Right now, we have about 1.5 million illegal alien farm workers in the country, 50 million in total on the high end. 1.5 million, I guess, this is the research I've seen, is that about 1.5 million of them are actively working in the farm manual labor field, literally working in the field. And so right now there was a rhino agenda to get President Trump to grant selective amnesty to some of these people. We're probably going to talk about that today. This was the biggest controversy yesterday. Well, actually, it was not the biggest controversy yesterday. The biggest controversy yesterday was the Epstein files. And we did a live broadcast yesterday, bombshell broadcast yesterday, talking about the Epstein files and how, frankly, disappointing that entire situation is. So I guess this amnesty conversation was the second biggest conversation yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty big day. Okay. So anyway, really just in the next 2, 3, 4, 3 minutes, President Trump is going to walk out here. We're going to go live inside of the cabinet meeting room. We've watched a couple of these together. Now, to be honest, President Trump, a lot of the time, is a little bit late. They're behind schedule some days. That's just the way it is. We are working on Trump time. Not real time. We're working on Trump time, so he might be 10 minutes late. I don't know. Hey, we're hanging out here together. If you are tuning into this live broadcast after the fact, don't be afraid. You might have to skip forward maybe 10 or 15 or 20 minutes while we wait for this. We're going live. That's the way the live news coverage goes. Sometimes things happen right on time. Other times things do not happen right on time. So that's what it is. I do want to say thank you all very much for tuning in again this morning on this nice Tuesday morning. I woke up bright and early. Last night I got, we have a puppy in the house. We have a 12-week-old German Shepherd puppy in the house now. And man, this dog was just going crazy all night. All night. You wouldn't believe it. My sleep, listen, I have not been getting my beauty sleep. If I'm looking a little bit less beautiful than normal, it's because of this puppy running around the house. He was just a little nightmare last night. Just a freakazoid, spastic last night. But hey, that's how puppies are. It's worth it. In the end, it's worth it. That's the way it is. Do we really need to see the Epstein list? We know who's on the flight log and the little black book. Listen, we can double back and talk about Epstein here for a minute. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna start coping about the Epstein list. I already see a lot of people saying, oh, well, it doesn't really matter that the Epstein list doesn't come out. Doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. Who really cares? I care. I care a lot. I care a lot. I think it does matter. Listen, we can have an adult conversation about this. I think this is a bad look. You guys know I love Trump. I'm a big time Trump supporter. This is a bad look. Right now, the Trump admin has egg on their face. I'm sorry. It's uncomfortable. That's the truth. We have been talking about the Epstein list for months or years. We have had Pam Bondi, Kesh Patel, Alina Habba talking about releasing this list for a very long time. Pam Bondi said just a couple months ago that the list was on her desk and that we would all be looking at it very soon, imminently. Well, they went back on that. Okay, it's a bad look, and we should be honest adults about this and not say, oh well, actually it doesn't matter, whatever, it doesn't matter. Actually, it does. It sucks. The situation sucks. Let's be honest about this. It sucks. I wish it wasn't so. Okay, but I'm not gonna flip on this and say, oh well, actually it doesn't matter a whole lot. I think it does matter. I think it does. Now, that's kind of not the topic of the day, though. That was yesterday's big topic. Today's big topic is President Trump's first cabinet meeting. First publicly broadcast cabinet meeting that he has done in about 9 weeks. Now, I'm going to see if do we have Trump cabinet meeting? Maybe we have a different live broadcast here coverage. I just want to make sure I don't miss it. I'm kind of glancing around here. No, I think we've got the feed. You know, I wonder if the official White House page on YouTube is going to cover this. Where's the official White House page? Yeah, this one right. A lot of the time they will broadcast stuff like this. Like I said last night, President Trump here met with Bibi Netanyahu. So here we have all the Trump guys, all the Netanyahu guys. We have Witkoff, we have Susie Wiles, we have Marco Rubio, Lil Marco, Donald Trump, President Trump. We have there's Huckabee on the end. He is the ambassador to Israel. We have Pete Heggs, the Secretary of Defense, and that guy, I'm not recognizing his face. This guy, Cotton. I'm blanking on him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They had a 32-minute here dinner. This was publicly broadcast. They were talking about the current state of Iran. They were talking about all of this stuff. They were talking about how this entire situation unfolded. They're talking about the current state of peace or not, maybe in the Middle East. Really, frankly, not a whole lot happened. But anyway, so Netanyahu is in town, which might kind of lend to the conversation today. By the way, folks, normally these live broadcast cabinet meetings, they take place, they're normally around 2 hours long. So once this starts getting going, I suspect this will be about 2 hour long live broadcast. And like I said, they're going to be talking about all types of stuff, probably the Middle East, negotiations with Iran, tariffs, reciprocal, the hard line, more aggressive, larger value reciprocal tariffs are set to go into effect on August 1st. I imagine we're going to talk about that. This is, like I said, this is the first publicly broadcast cabinet meeting Trump has given in about 9 weeks. So we have a lot to talk about. A lot has unfolded in 9 weeks. I think we're going to be talking a lot about the big, beautiful bill today and how that process unfolded. A lot of stuff to go over today. And so this meeting was scheduled to go live. I'll take a look at this here about 2 minutes ago. This was scheduled for 11 a.m. East Coast. Should have gone live 2 minutes ago. So right now we're living on Trump time. Also, there was another breaking news report that came out yesterday afternoon that maybe later in today's broadcast we can take a look at. ICE agents recently in Texas, I believe, were ambushed in a violent, deadly assault from 10 different I think we can call them Antifa thugs, far-left radical progressives, whatever you want to call them. Now, I believe that not a single ICE officer was killed, and that actually all 10 of these assailants, these are them here, by the way, that all 10 of these violent, far-left radical assailants were captured, apprehended, and now will be held accountable. And so this is a whole story. We can talk about this story a little bit later today, but I don't want to get into that with you guys right now because, like I said, any moment, we're going to go live here and we're going to have this cabinet meeting. Now, curiously, look at the schedule here today. Hold up. Can I pull this up? So this is saying here, cabinet meeting starts at 11 a.m. That's 4 minutes ago. And then at 11:45 a.m., they're doing a photo op with Israeli PM Netanyahu and Speaker Johnson. Okay, so you know how I take that then. This is probably not going to be a normal, regular 2 hour long cabinet meeting like we have seen in the past. Looks like this is going to be a 45-minute long cabinet meeting. That this is not going to be a super long broadcast, a super long cabinet meeting. Because they've got a full day. They're doing a photo op with Netanyahu and Speaker Johnson 45 minutes from now. Allegedly. Of course, everything is going to be a little bit behind schedule. It already is. I mean, it already is. This guy Blomkin says, hey, nobody cares about the puppy. Hey, Blomkin, listen, on this stream, we care about puppies. If you don't like puppies, you can get the hell out. Okay? On this stream, we are dog lovers. If you don't like dogs, get the hell out of the community. Unsubscribe, unfollow, go away, never come back. Here, we love dogs. If you don't like dogs, we don't love you. This community is for dog lovers. It's very simple. You don't like them? Get out. If I want to talk about my puppy on my broadcast, that's what I'm going to do. If that bothers you, get the hell out. I care about my puppy more than I care about you, dickhead. Get out of here. Bye. Anyway, that's how I feel. We love dogs. Sorry, listen. I just don't like people that don't like dogs. I just don't like them. And so if that's a bother for if that's a problem for you, then I guess we got to part ways. We got to split ways. Okay, this is not the place for you. You can go be a freak somewhere else. We like dogs here. Anyway. Anyway, this broadcast is going to start any minute now. President Trump, come on out, President Trump. We like dogs. Give me a one. Give me a one in the chat if you love your dog. If you love dogs. Hey, I don't care about puppies. Then nobody cares about you. Get out of here, buddy. Get out. Come on, President Trump. Okay, so right now we're just kind of hanging out, waiting for President Trump to come on out. Any minute now, President Trump is coming out. This is the nature. Listen, some days I go live and we do these kind of like live reaction, breaking news broadcasts where President Trump is giving a speech or something like that is happening. Part of this whole dynamic is that sometimes things are going to be a little bit behind schedule. You know, most of the broadcasts I do, it's a little bit more. You know, prepared out. I've got a bunch of stuff prepared for you guys today. Listen, we are living on Trump time. That might mean that we have to kind of sit here and stall and wait for 10 or 15 minutes. That's the way it is. That's how it is. We're doing live breaking news update today. This is President Trump's first cabinet meeting in about 9 weeks. 9 weeks. So, hey, I got out of bed early today. This is going to be a big one, I think. Look at all those ones in the chat. We listen, hey, this is a puppy loving community. Look at all these puppy lovers in the live broadcast. We love them. Yeah, we're on Trump time. Got to deal with it. That's the way it is. We're living on Trump time. Now I'm gonna take a look back at the official White House page. And so I want to say real quick, for all of you that are being patient and respectful, and for everybody here that loves puppies, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is the way that live broadcasts go. Look, this is a massive puppy lover. Let that sink in with the massive $50 super chat. Thank you very much. Let that sink in. I didn't know that loving puppies was a controversial opinion. I thought that everybody loved puppies, but I guess I found out today. Hey, stop talking about puppies. I didn't know. This is a controversial topic. I had no idea. So, hey, I appreciate that super chat a lot. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. You learn something new every day. So this is not yet live on the official. You know what? Here's what I want to see. Trump cabinet meeting. Where in the past, on what official channel have they done these cabinet meetings? Okay, you've got Right Side Broadcasting Network. We like that. They're doing coverage today. The Associate Press, they are not playing. It looks like the Associate Press here today, they've got a live stream broadcast for 11:45 East Coast. What happens at 11:45 East Coast? Well, that is when Trump is meeting with Netanyahu. So you know what? Maybe why don't we go ahead and do that today also together? We can cover this cabinet meeting as well as this Netanyahu meeting. Not Live Now from Fox has done these in the past. NBC News has covered these in the past. And like I said, these are normally 2 hours. You can see cabinet meetings streamed 2 months ago. So right now we're waiting. We're hanging out. We're waiting for this. All we need is President Trump to come on out and send it our way. Send it our way, President Trump. Oh, you know what? Hey, the Associate Press actually is doing a live broadcast here. They too. Everybody right now, everybody around the world is waiting for President Trump to go live with this cabinet meeting. Right now, folks, I do apologize. We are 9 minutes late. Here's what I'll do, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call President Trump, okay? Let me get my phone out here. All right. Okay, hold up. Mr. Trump, President Trump, listen, the entire world is standing by. We are waiting. We're waiting for the cabinet meeting. What's that? Just a couple more minutes? Okay, I'm going to let him know. Yeah. Guys, President Trump says just a couple more minutes. Stand by. It's going to be a couple minutes. He's getting ready. What's that? You want me to tell them to make sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube? Really? Okay, I'll tell him that. Trump says make sure to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Okay, folks? Is that it? Okay, yeah, we'll see you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, soon. All right, folks, he's coming out. Don't worry. You got to do what he says. You got to do what he says. Got to wait for it. Got to make sure you subscribe also. Got to give it a minute here. He's coming out any minute now. Just give it a minute. Take his word for it. Any freaking minute now. Let's go. 8 minutes right now, folks. We are 11 minutes overtime. God, man, I feel like an idiot. I woke up. I set an alarm. I woke up. I set an alarm, and I was rushing around the house. I had my coffee. I pretty much I chugged my cup of coffee. I was in and out of the shower in 2 minutes flat. I barely even got wet. I was like, gotta go. The cabinet meeting is happening any minute now. By the way, folks, what is this big, beautiful building in the back? What is that building right there? It's right behind the White House. No, I was going to say the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is behind the Capitol building. This has got to be the Lincoln. Is this the Lincoln Memorial? Is that what that is? I don't have the DC layout. Google Maps. That's got to be Lincoln Memorial back there. Because the memorial's right by the water, isn't it? Hold up here. We'll go ahead. We'll take a look at Google Maps. It's not like anything exactly pressing is happening right now. We're waiting. We're living on Trump time. Okay. Oh, yeah, you know what? I was right. Man, I was right. I think I called it. So right now we are looking at the back side of the White House, right? And then down here is the Lincoln Memorial down here by the water. I was in DC one time in 2016. Gosh, what a beautiful monument. Look at this. Wow. Absolutely stunning. I will say, hey, if you're an American, if you have not been to DC, I think it's worth going one time. You know, the monuments and the history and the museums. If you care about museums, looking around, take a look at all the buildings. I mean, guys, this is just stunning. Absolutely, it feels like you're back in ancient Greece. This is ancient Greek architecture. These are called Doric. Yeah, no, these are Doric columns. Not that anybody cares about the different Greek columns. I do. I care about columns because I'm a nerd. We have a massive super chat here. Who's this from? This one is from Dilemma. Can we get some proof of life on the said puppy? That's a good question. You want proof of life on the puppy? Well, you know what? Here's the deal. I'm gonna go fast because I know the second I get out of my chair to go get this puppy, President Trump is gonna come out. But you know what? That's fine, folks. All right. Let me go get the puppy. If you guys really want to see the puppy, I'll go grab this little guy here. He's a little spaz attack, but he's out in the living room right now. I've got 2 kids and a wife. He's probably hanging out with the family. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me go grab him here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Here is my very controversial puppy, I guess. I didn't know puppies were controversial, but I guess they are. This is our little German Shepherd puppy. Hey, you gotta calm down. Everybody's looking at you. You're the star of the show. He is about 12. He's about 12 weeks old. We've had him now for about 3 days. He's been a member of the family for 3 days. You say hi. You say hi here. His name is Argos. 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 Look at that puppy, right? Ugh. Hey. That's right. That's right. Listen, I have a hardline stance on this. Okay, if you don't love puppies, if you don't love dogs, I think you can get kicked out of the country. I think you need to be deported. That's my take. You call me a far right radical, whatever you want. If you don't love puppies, dogs, listen, you don't have to own one. I get maybe not everybody can own one, but at least if you don't love them, right? You got to get out. You got to get out of the country. And you can be a cat person. You can love cats. It's not a cat versus dog thing. But listen, you got to love dogs. If you don't love dogs, you got to get out. You are you're getting deported. Okay. All right. Hey, let me get him out of here. Okay. All right, no, thanks everybody. Thank you guys for being patient today. Like I said, we are living on Trump time right now, folks. Any minute now, this cabinet meeting is going to go live. Thank you all very much for tuning in and sharing the moment with me. I figured I'd go live and do an emergency early morning broadcast. This is his first cabinet meeting in 9 weeks. Well, first public cabinet meeting in 9 weeks. 9 weeks. So we're hoping to get some bombshell information. I think there's going to be a lot to talk about today. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You know, like I said, no, listen, hey, it's not a dog versus cat thing. I like cats. Cats are fine, but I just happen to like dogs more. I don't hate cats. I just like dogs a little bit more. Well, a lot more. But hey, that's fine. I think we'll probably get some cats here pretty soon. We'll get some cats. I don't know. I used to have a cat. Yeah, he's a good-looking puppy. Good-looking puppy. That's right. He's going to be a big boy. So it's late. Yeah, folks, if you were tuning in right now, we are about 17 minutes late. President Trump is 17 minutes late. But you know what? I don't want to listen, out of respect for President Trump. Let me reframe that. President Trump is not late. We are accidentally early. Okay? It's our fault. It is our fault. It's not President Trump's fault. He's a busy guy. So President Trump, whenever he shows up here today, he is right on time. And we are all early. It's our fault for showing up early. And that's how we're going to look at this. We're going to see. Yeah, we are living on Trump time. So we're hanging out. We're hanging out together. Okay, potential topics of the day. Bibi Netanyahu is over from Israel. He's hanging out with Trump. They had a meeting last night. We're probably going to talk about Israel relation with ongoing negotiations with Iran. What's the state of the Middle East? I expect that will be one of the topics of today. Whenever this cabinet meeting goes live, we're going to be talking about the big, beautiful bill. I would suspect this is the first publicly broadcast cabinet meeting that we have had in 9 weeks. I would suspect that we are also going to be talking about this. This is a controversial topic right now. I was talking about this earlier today. There are some rhinos here on the Republican side of the aisle that are currently pushing Trump to give amnesty or some form of amnesty-like program for illegal alien farm workers. This country right now, the best data I have seen suggests that we have around 1.5 million illegal alien farm workers. We've got up to 50 million in the country, 1.5 of which are working on farms. That's the data I've seen. And so there is a movement, there's a push amongst some of the Republicans. I'm going to call them rhinos. Republican in name only is what that means. That is saying, hey, Trump, listen, we got to give these guys amnesty. We cannot lose our illegal alien farm workers. It's going to cut into our profit margins. Namely, these people are representatives of big agriculture, if you can call it that, big agriculture. Some of the Republican representatives of big agriculture are saying, "Hey, listen, Trump, we got to keep these guys." Now, I don't think Trump is Trump is going to buckle to that. Like I said, I've got a big video talking about this very topic that I'm going to be releasing later today. I was up late last night researching this entire situation because I wasn't happy about it. And so I have a video. I typed up the video script. All I have to do is sit down and record it. I'll do that whenever we're done doing this cabinet meeting here. But folks, a little bit of a spoiler. I don't think Trump is going to give into this. It doesn't seem like he is. But you need to be aware there are people pushing for that right this very moment. So we might hear about that today. That might be one of the topics today at this cabinet meeting. I'm going to take a look at these super chats. Michael P, bright and early in the morning. Michael P, I could go live at 2 in the morning on a Sunday night and you would be here. You are never not here. You're one of the top super fans, one of the top super community members. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for bringing the puppy on cam. He's adorable dog guy here. God bless. And God bless. You know what? We always say, God bless you. God bless this. God bless everybody's dogs. How about that? God bless dogs. That's how we're going to put it today. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let me take a look at this one here. Deb S. And I think if I'm looking at Deb's profile picture, I think she has a dog as the profile picture. That's what we like to see. Hey, thank you very much, Deb. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. I really do. I really do. Folks, we are now 20. I'm gonna stop saying that we're late, that President Trump is late. Guys, we are now 21 minutes early. I'm reversing it now. Folks, we are 21 minutes early. So, man, what were we thinking? What were we thinking, guys? What were we doing? How dumb are we showing up to this thing 21 minutes early? We should have known better. What is wrong with us? We are really just, I guess we weren't thinking today. I don't know what's going on. But hey, once again, thank you guys. Any minute now. Any minute now. This is coming together. You know, I have to say, you know, this is maybe not the most entertaining, riveting, thrilling content at the moment. I understand that, but it's kind of cozy. I kind of like hanging out and talking to you guys. I like seeing your guys' names in the chat. This is a community building broadcast. Maybe this isn't the most high octane broadcast, but this is a nice community building broadcast, a nice cozy little morning get together. Okay, we're all sipping here. It's morning. We're having our coffee wherever you are. We're hanging out. Hey, it's not that bad. Okay, you got to appreciate the moment. Misfit Monkey says Michael's checking in, reporting for duty. Patriots stand by. Patriots check in and stand by. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. You've come a long way since reporting on the undocumented server Elysium drama. Yeah. Wow. Back in the old days. That must have been, I don't know what, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. 9 years ago. Long time. Been around a long time. They're probably coming out of another meeting. Yeah, you know, this is most certainly, if you kind of look at the schedule here, take a look at this. Something kind of strange is going on today. So we heard that there was a cabinet meeting going on today, set for 11 a.m. Okay, that's 22 minutes ago. Normally, these public cabinet meetings are around 2 hours long. We've watched those in the past. They're always around 2 hours long. However, today's cabinet meeting is only set to be 45 minutes long because they've got another thing scheduled in. It's a photo op with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Speaker Johnson at 11:45. So this one was going to be a little bit short, and then you got to say, okay, well, and now we're 23 minutes late. I mean, early. So I'm not exactly sure what is going on here. So the White House every day they upload their official Trump schedule. This is the official Donald Trump public schedule right here, and it says 11 a.m. You can see, I'll zoom in. You take a look at this. 11 a.m. The president participates in a cabinet meeting. Cabinet room, White House press pool. What does that mean? That means you're going to have all the White House press in there with their cameras, with their microphone boomsticks, asking questions, and they're going to be doing a round table kind of discussion, or, you know, fielding questions at least. And, you know, we've seen this time and time again. That's what this means. Live broadcast. Everybody's tuning in. So right now we are, I guess we're looking at live aerial footage from over New York City. I'm not sure what we're looking at, but anyway, let's go back to the White House lawn. So any minute now, President Trump's coming on out of this thing, and we're gonna go through this. Any minute now. Now on Right Side Broadcast Network. Well, we were looking at that. I don't think that they right now I've got the Associate Press broadcast open. Trump cabinet meeting. Take a look here.
Today marks an important milestone in the ongoing series of high-level engagements between our two great countries.
Okay, this is a replay. This is not live. So the Right Side Broadcast Network, they've got this looping old footage. This is old footage. So they are effectively in the same boat that I got worried. I was like, man, are we missing something here? Do they have something we don't? No, they are in the same boat that we are in. Everybody right now, we are here live. Everybody right now is on the edge of the seat waiting for Trump to come out. That's what we're waiting for. Soon. Any minute now. Soon. That's right. We'll go take a look at the White House lawn on Google Maps. Where is our, nope. Got some audio. That's out in New York. We don't need to hear about what's going on in New York right now. Nobody cares about that. There's our White House right here. Okay, so hey, right now, all these people, I believe this is going on inside the White House. Any minute now, they're coming out, or rather going in. They're going to be having this thing. Right now, we're looking at the back lawn. What is this about? Folks, if you are tuning in today, we're doing an emergency morning broadcast because President Trump very soon, imminently, any minute, is going to be holding his first public cabinet meeting for the first time in 9 weeks. In 9 weeks. It has been 9 weeks, April 30th, since President Trump has had a publicly broadcast cabinet meeting. We have one of those scheduled. I mean, frankly, it should have started about 26 minutes ago. So they are behind schedule by 26 minutes now at this point. So right now, guys, we are hanging out here as a community. I guess we showed up early. Some people are saying President Trump is late. I'm saying we showed up early. Okay, so we're right now we're kind of hanging out here waiting. This could be any minute now. So hey, once again, thank you everybody for your patience. That's the way that a lot of these live breaking news broadcasts go. You know, sometimes things don't happen right on time. That's the way that it is. Sue Battle, hey, thank you for tuning in today, Sue. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you all for tuning in today. So any minute now. Good thing it's on April Fool's Day. Yeah, right. Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Silly of us to show up so early. That's right. That's right. Now, folks, here's something I'm going to tell you guys. For a couple months now, I have been uploading all of my YouTube videos also on another website. The website, I don't know if I can say it. Can I say it? I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. The website rhymes with mumble, bumble, fumble, dumble. Anyway, I've been uploading all of my YouTube videos on that website also for over a month now, and that has been going very well. I'm surprised. And I know that there are some people that prefer to use that website over this website here on YouTube. So I want to say something real quick. I'm never stopping anything on YouTube, but I also am now uploading all of my stuff on another website that rhymes with bumble, fumble, dumble, whatever. All the stuff on that website over there. Also, I think probably here in the next week or two, I'm going to start multi-streaming on that website as well. So once again, you're not losing anything here on YouTube. I'm not doing exclusive content or anything, but going forward, all of my stuff is going to be on both places. So you know how every day we go live, we do a live broadcast, either breaking news coverage like this or more of a prepared broadcast, maybe more like yesterday's where we talked about the Epstein stuff. Anyway, all of these YouTube live broadcasts are now also soon. And the next, I need to work out some details. They are also going to be on this other website also. So if you guys prefer there, you can find it on there also. But, you know, they say you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Here's my concern, you know, while we're kind of talking here, hanging out. You know, it was only 2, 3, 4 years ago when Joe Biden was in the White House and they started shutting down and banning and suspending right-leaning conservative voices on YouTube. The Democrats were colluding with big tech. You guys remember this. We all know this was just a couple years ago. And listen, obviously that is not the case now. Thank God. Things have come around a little bit. No doubt they have. It's a little bit of a more friendly environment for right-wing commentators, for right-wing communities here like us. But you know what? Who knows what happens in 2029 or a couple years from now or whatever, right? So they said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So kind of diversifying that a little bit. So it's up to you guys whether or not you prefer to view content over there or over here. If you're over here, you're not missing out. Nobody's missing out anywhere. So don't worry about that. But anyway, just a heads up. And by the way, my name on that Mumble Fumble Dumble platform on that website is called Matt Morris TV. It's the very same name. Very same name. In fact, I got to tell, I mean, here it is. I got to tell you something. The Rumble channel so far is almost doing just as well as the YouTube channel. Not quite, but I had no idea. There are a lot of people looking at videos over on Rumble. I guess I'm going to say it now. I had no idea. So things are going well. So hey, if you guys prefer to view content over there, that's another place to find me. That's another place to be. But anyway, we've got a super chat here. It's from Martial Law. Thank you. Watch out for mass amnesty, he said. Employers feeling the bite of deportations. Congress is scared of optics and donations. I think you're having a lot of big business lobbyists. They're cracking down. Now, by the way, one of the it's like you said, one of these narratives right now. Let me rewind in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about. um, you are having rhinos, Republicans in name only, that are right this very moment pushing President Trump to grant amnesty for illegal alien farm workers, industry workers. There's a lot of pressure on Trump to start granting amnesty. Okay, and we don't want that. Obviously, that would be a terrible move. This is a very, very concerning issue. One of the narratives that they are pushing, hey, listen here, President Trump, you got to grant amnesty. Let me tell you why. They're saying if we don't do it, then the Republicans are going to lose midterms. They're saying, Trump, if you don't grant amnesty, then we're going to lose midterms. And I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Guys, 77 million Americans just voted for President Trump 9-10 months ago to deport all of these people. And also President Trump right now, 60% of the nation, that's Republicans and a lot of Democrats, support President Trump's endeavor to deport all of these people. So what do you mean we're going to lose midterms? Here's what I'll say. If President Trump grants amnesty, then we will guarantee lose midterms. You want to lose midterms? President Trump grants amnesty. That is a surefire way guarantee. It's a guarantee that we will lose midterms. So, but here's the thing. Okay? I'm sure you're thinking, how could anybody be so stupid to think that we need to grant amnesty if we want to win midterms? How can anybody be so stupid to think that? They're not stupid, they're evil, they hate America. Let me tell you what's going on here. These rhinos, keep in mind, these rhinos, they hate Trump, they hate MAGA, they hate America first. They've never been on our side. They might be grinning and smiling, pretending to go along with this whole show that we're running the country now. They might be grinning their teeth, pretending to be on the same team now. But guys, these rhinos, they hate Trump. They hate you. They hate MAGA, America first. They hate the entire agenda. And it's these people that are pushing for amnesty. They know. So they're not stupid. They don't genuinely believe that we need amnesty to win midterms. No, they want Trump to give amnesty. They're trying to manipulate him into granting amnesty so that we lose midterms. They want to be able to say, look what Trump did. He lost midterms. They want Trump to lose. They want him to fail. They're trying to undermine Trump. They know that if Trump grants amnesty, it's going to be a big reputational blow. It's going to do a lot of damage to the MAGA movement, to the America First movement. Okay, and they know that, and that's why they are pushing it. That's why they're pushing it. So, like I said, though, right now it does not seem like Trump is going to give into that. It doesn't seem like Trump cares about that. Doesn't seem like he's going to go for that. But I'm gonna have a much more in-depth video here on my YouTube channel later today, breaking all of this down. I was up late last night doing research on this, and I put together an entire video script for this. So a little bit later today, you're gonna have a big, nice, comprehensive breakdown of this entire dynamic. And folks, right now, regarding the cabinet meeting of the day, we are 34 minutes early. We're 34 minutes early. President Trump is not 34 minutes late. We are 34 minutes early is what this is. So any minute now, good old President Trump is going to come on out and we're going to do this. any minute now. At this point, I'm just going to start talking about this massive ICE ambush. And if President Trump comes out, we're going to pause that conversation, folks. This is some breaking news out of late last night. Take a look at this. ICE agents were targeted in 2 different ambush attacks in recent days. Anti-government suspects allegedly shot a police officer in the neck while they were carrying propaganda materials for a class war against ICE. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents and other federal law enforcement officers conducting immigration enforcement have been targeted in at least 2 different ambushes in Texas in recent days. And this is in Texas. You don't think of this stuff happening in Texas. You think of this happening in Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, or Los Angeles. Guess what? Texas too. The Justice Department on Monday named 10 individuals charged with shooting a police officer in the neck and opening fire on other correctional officers outside the Prairie Land Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas on the 4th of July. The group, donning all black, sounds familiar, sounds Antifa, allegedly first began shooting fireworks at the facility, which is being used by the Department of Homeland Security to hold people related to immigration violations or awaiting deportation. The defendants are blah, blah, blah. We've got 10 different names. The complaint charges each of them with 3 accounts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm during, in relation to, and in the furtherance of a violent crime. Now, we know what these people look like, folks. Look at these beautiful individuals up here. Now, you got this guy. Okay, okay, I have maybe a little bit of an observation here. These are the 10. How many women? How many women are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. I'm sorry, 6. I miscounted. We got 6. Now, what do you notice about most of these women? I think there might be something special about them. About probably 4 of them. Maybe, hell, maybe 5. I think there might be something a little bit special about them. Anyway, we're gonna keep on reading here. Ice pig. They're spray painting the cars. Ice pig. Approximately 10 minutes after convening at the ICE facility, one of the 2 individuals broke off from the main group and began to spray graffiti on vehicles. Check. Nothing yet. Come on, Trump. Sorry, I'm just checking back. Spraying on the ICE vehicles and a guard structure in the parking lot, authorities said. Photos included in the criminal complaint filed in the Northern District of Texas show vehicles tagged with the messages "Ice Pig, F you pigs." Correction officers dialed 911 and the Alvarado police officer responded to the scene. Immediately after the officer got out of his vehicle, one defendant positioned in the nearby woods allegedly shot the officer in the neck. So one of these people, I don't know which one, shot the cop in the neck. Really, just evil. Just absolutely evil. Why do they all look so strange? I mean, here, listen, guys, here's the deal. Well-functioning, well-adjusted, mentally sound, healthy, physically fit, mentally healthy people don't do this. So if you're like, man, how come every time I see a mugshot lineup like this, or I see a list of Antifa members, why do they all look so freaking weird? They look insane. They look like they're strung out on God knows how many drugs. Who knows? Listen, it's because healthy, just like normal people, well-adjusted people, they don't do this. It's the insane people that do this. Okay. Immediately after the officer got out of his vehicle, one defendant positioned in the nearby woods shot him in the neck. Another assailant wearing a green mask and standing across the street then allegedly fired 20 to 30 rounds. That's like a mag dump. That's a lot. 20 to 30 rounds at unarmed correctional officers who had stepped outside the facility to take a look. They're like, hey, what's going on out here? Ah, man. The shooting was captured by both security cameras, CCTV, and the body cameras of all the officers. The FBI recovered AR-15 style rifles from the scene. The group fled from the detention center separately, some on foot, some in vehicles, and were later stopped by other law enforcement officers. The complaint notes that the defendants were dressed in black military-style clothing. Some were wearing body armor, some were armed, and some had two-way radios. So this isn't just a random act of violence, guys. This was a well-prepared, premeditated, pre-planned, attack on these ICE agents, on these enforcement agents. Any minute now, Trump is coming out. Come on, Trump. Come on, Trump. Prosecutors said a total of 12 sets of body armor 12 sets of body armor were found during searches of vehicles associated with the defendants on their persons and in the area around the Prairieland Detention Center. Law enforcement also found spray paint, magazines containing ammunition, like ammunition magazines, and a bunch of flyers stating, quote, Fight ICE terror with class war. Resist fascism. Fight oligarchy. Resist fascism. Fight the oligarchy. Uh-huh. This is part of this just absolutely insane ongoing narrative that President Trump and all of his federal enforcement officers are fascists. Okay, so you say, okay, hold up. What makes them a fascist? Why are they fascists? What does that even mean? Well, according to these people, fascism is when President Trump tries to enforce our federal immigration legislation. Fascism is when you have a border. Fascism is when you don't allow people to invade your country. Fascism is when you try to deport illegal alien invaders. Fascism is when you have border security. According to these idiots, I guess. You're a fascist. Okay. All right then. Okay then. Gibson had 2 cell phones inside his backpack inside of a Faraday bag, which is used to block phone signals and commonly used by criminal actors to try to prevent law enforcement from tracking their location. They knew what they were doing. This was pre-planned. There's something going on here. We've got domestic terrorists in the country. I mean, hey, that's what these guys are. That's what these guys and lovely, beautiful women. That's what they are. 2 days after the attack, Ruta allegedly called Daniel Rolando Sanchez, who was charged in a separate complaint, expressing concern police would conduct a search warrant on his home in Fort Worth. Organizing for attack. Insurrectionary anarchy. Whatever you need to do, move whatever you need to move at the house, he said. The FBI conducted surveillance on another address in Garland, Texas, believed to be Sanchez's residence, and observed Sanchez carrying multiple packages to his truck. Agents followed Sanchez to an apartment building in Denton. He carried a box inside which contained anti-government propaganda, quote, including flyers stating, organizing for attack, insurrectionary anarchy. Insurrectionist. I've heard that word before. The complaint was announced the same day that a man in a, quote, utility vest and armed with an assault rifle fired dozens of rounds at federal agents and a U.S. Border Patrol facility in McAllen, Texas, near the U.S.-Mexico border. So they were locked and loaded. Look at this. They've got tactical vests and magazines with ammunition. This was found in the aftermath of the shooting at the Prairie Land Detention Center in Texas. One of these guys was linked to an address in Michigan, so he must have come all the way down. Unbelievable. An ICE facility in Portland, Oregon has faced repeated protests and attacks, and nearly 24 people have been arrested since June. That is right. This kind of same behavior has been going on in Portland and also a little bit up there in Seattle. But anyway, so it sounds like they caught everybody involved. They over the last couple of days they tracked them down. So this attack on these ICE agents, on these border enforcement agents, this attack took place 4 days ago, and they were able to track them down, all 10 of them. They're not messing around. They are not fooling around anymore. You know who is fooling around, though? Us. We are fooling around. All of us together right now, we're fooling around because President Trump has not gone live with his cabinet meeting yet. And so, listen, I want to show you. So they're getting ready. They've got the flags up here. They're going to come out. Guys, listen, hey, look at today's schedule. Back to today's schedule. 11:45 is when they're supposed to be doing this photo op with Netanyahu, who arrived in D.C. last night. 45 minutes ago, this cabinet meeting was supposed to go live. It's supposed to be a live broadcast. So what is this? Is it canceled now? Are we 45 minutes late? Right now, this very minute is when the Netanyahu photo op was supposed to be happening. So, and by the way, that's not just from this one Fox 5 New York live broadcast. That's from the official White House schedule. They've got their schedule uploaded here. Look at this, 11 a.m. President Trump participates in a cabinet meeting, cabinet room. Who's going to be there? The White House press pool. White House press pool, what does that mean? That means that we're going to have people asking questions. You're going to have members of the media showing up, and we're going to be doing, you know, what we've done in the past. Now, President Trump has not given a, where are we there? President Trump has not had a live public cabinet meeting in 9 weeks. April 30th was the last one of these. So it has been over 2 months. You can understand things have been a little bit hot, a little bit busy. Namely, had all this stuff in the Middle East break out. That has probably taken up a lot of his time. So anyway, it seems like the live cabinet meetings were kind of canceled or put on ice for a while. Well, now they're back, except they're not back. Well, today they're back, except maybe not which time zone. East. All of these are. We got an ad. I could be a big, beautiful, fat black woman gardening in my garden if only I had Thrivent. If only I used Thrivent. That could be me in my garden. Maybe someday. Anyway, yeah, no, this is supposed to be happening on Eastern time zone, EST. For me over here, I'm on the West Coast. I woke up early. Now I feel like an idiot. I woke up early. I was like, man, cabinet meeting. We got to do this one. I woke up at 7 in the morning. Listen, hey, that's early for me. But right now it's 8:47 on the West Coast. It is 11:47 on the East Coast. So hey, he's a little bit late. He's a little bit late here, but hey, we're waiting. We're hanging out together. We're hanging out together for the time being. Yeah, listen, I even set an alarm. I set an alarm on my phone today. You know how weird that is? I woke up to an alarm. That's the way it goes. Hey, listen, that is the way that this live breaking news coverage goes. That's how it works. Luckily, I have developed a unique skill. I've got a very special skill. I am capable of just rambling. I'm a good rambler. I can monologue and I can ramble. So I'm not just sitting here silent. Luckily, we're not sitting here silently with nothing to say. We have a good little ramble going today. But of course, we want President Trump to come out any minute now. Don't look for Iranian-born sleeper cells here. These domestic lunatics are our own sleeper cells. You know, Paolo, this is one of these things I'm saying. Who here has had a conversation with somebody on the left, a family member, friend, coworker, whatever? You say, listen, hey, these illegal aliens, they're bringing crime and all types of problems into the country. And somebody on the left, they'll always say, yeah, well, Americans commit crime. Yeah, well, Americans create problems. So what's the difference? It's like, listen, yeah, I know. Listen, we do have problem Americans committing crime and dealing fentanyl. Yeah, well, listen. So why on hell, given all the domestic actual American problems we have, why would we want to import a bunch more problems? Just because we already have problems does not mean that we want more problems. Yeah, you're right. We do have homegrown all-American problems. How about we fix those ones? We got to fix those American problems. That doesn't mean that we need to start importing more of them. You know what I mean? I'm with you. I agree. We have enough. We have enough homegrown chaos. We do not need to be importing even more foreign chaos into the country. We got to clean our house. We've got a bunch of stuff to clean up in our own house right now, right? Goodness. We do not want more problems. Here's what I want. I want alligator Alcatraz in every state across the nation. We were joking about this about a week ago. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, up where I live, we don't have alligators. You got them down in Florida. Oh, cabinet meeting, folks. Here we go. Look at that.
Way out to the left.
Only 50 minutes behind schedule today, folks. Here we go. Thank you all for your patience. Here we go.
Are you able to get them all in the room? Are they in?
Yes, sir, they're in.
Are you okay? Thank you very much. We've had a tremendous 6 months, and we've had a tremendous 2 weeks, which now is, I guess, 3 weeks. And we have a tremendous group of people here that have done a great, unified, beautiful job. I want in particular, because of what she's gone through this last few days, done an incredible job. As you know, Christy, I'm going to ask you to say a few words about Texas. The first person there was first person I saw on television was you, actually. And you've worked great with the governor, who's terrific. And you might want to tell a little bit about the trials and tribulations, but we appreciate the job that you and everybody have done. You had people there as fast as anybody's ever seen, so really appreciate it. We all do, and maybe you could say a few words.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank you for your leadership. Texas is strong, and the people of Texas are incredibly strong. They've gone through something that is absolutely horrific, and it is heartbreaking to watch these families suffer the way that they are. As soon as this flash flooding event happened, you know, the governor has activated his emergency responders. Nim Kidd is his emergency management director, who is incredible, and has immediately worked with the local first responders to get help to individuals and get them evacuated, put requests into me. We deployed, sir, right away, as you know, because you and I were talking a lot during this time, the Coast Guard. We also had some assets out of Customs and Border Protection. Our BORTAC teams went in and helped with rescues and clearing debris so that we could get roads open and people get the help that they need. I think when I got there the most, sir, that day, as soon as I arrived on site, was getting a briefing from all the emergency responders, was just how unified they were in focusing on the fact that we're there to save lives. They were there to rescue people, find people who were still alive, and to reunify them with their family members. We as a federal government don't manage these disasters. The state does. We come in and support them, and that's exactly what we did here in this situation. FEMA went to an enhanced level immediately, but as soon as you signed the major disaster declaration, we were able to get them resources and dollars right away, just like you envisioned, through state block grants to help them with cleanup. And we're still there in presence, and FEMA's been deployed, and we're cutting through the paperwork of the old FEMA, streamlining it much like your vision of how FEMA should operate, and it's been a much better response to help these families get through this terrible situation. We still are looking for people. We're still looking for a lot of little girls and other family members that were camping along that river, and they will continue until they find every single person, and we will continue to help them and assist in that. I was surprised when I got there at the camp that day, right after this happened, the parents that were there, the parents that were looking for their children and picking up are looking for people. We're still looking for
I got a better feed here,
girls and other family members that were camping along that river, and they will continue until they find every single person, and we will continue to help them and assist in that. I was surprised when I got there at the camp that day, right after this happened, the parents that were there, the parents that were looking for their children and picking up their daughter's stuffed animals out of the mud and finding their daughter's shoe that might be laying in the cabin, and just hugging and comforting people matters a lot. I'm extremely grateful for God's hand in that whole situation, because hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people were saved. And
MVP,
and
hey, thank you.
This is a time for all of us in this country to remember that we were created to serve each other. God created us to take care of each other. And that when we do that, we are happier, we are more fulfilled, and we can walk alongside people on their worst day and help them get through it and come out the other side, knowing that we can continue to live a life that God has purposed for us. So they're grateful for you. Several times the day after the flooding, you and Melania were on the phone with me, and I want to thank you for that. That meant the world. I was able to tell many of those folks that I had been visiting with you, and that you had said, whatever they need, Christy, let's deploy it and get it down there and be helpful. And on Sunday, when the families were waiting at a church to identify their children's bodies, Franklin Graham and I called in and prayed with the families and read some scripture with them, and he was incredible in making himself available to that as well. We'll be back down there in a couple of days, and continue to do all we can, but this is an unprecedented event. It really is. There's been tragedies like this around the country, but everyone is unique in different situations. And the response the federal government had supporting the state through this, I'm proud of the people that stepped up and immediately came. The Coast Guard, when they came in, they had a difficult time even getting the aircraft in and landed. They had to try several times in the weather to get it in and deploy. And I think we've heard about, our one Coast Guard member that was responsible for saving over 165 people, but that entire crew did incredible work. And all the first responders there did incredible work. And I know people are getting tired now, but they're getting reinforcements and volunteers are showing up. And I just want to commend the governor and his team for being the leaders. And they're so thankful that you're letting them make the decisions and manage the response like it should be. And then us supporting them with the resources of the federal government. We've already deployed dollars to the state, much like the block grants that you've talked about. Right. So they're grateful for that, sir.
There's never been a wave like this outside of the breaking of a dam. Because this was almost a wave that ended up being 30 feet high, more actually. Now with the dam you can understand it, but this approached almost with that speed. When you see a dam break, it's not a pretty sight. It wipes out everything, and this is the kind of thing that built up so fast. And it's happened 2 or 3 times before over the years, but not to this extent. But tell them when you met the father who was picking up the daughter's clothing. And
I had walked through the cabin where all the little girls died, and I had kind of fallen apart in there, but I walked out of the cabin, and a gentleman was standing there, and he said, that man over there needs a hug. And so I walked over to him, and I hugged him, and I said, do you work here? And he said, no, my little girl was in that cabin. And he said, and I just found her best friend about an hour and a half ago. She had passed away. And he just fell apart. And so then we just hugged and talked for probably an hour about that. But then there was the grandpa was there looking for his granddaughter as well. There was a dad there of one of the counselors. The counselor was alive, but she was dealing with the fact that she had hung on to some of these girls and was trying to keep them out of the floodwaters and had gotten hit by something and had lost 2 of the girls and wasn't able to hang on to them and was going to live the rest of her life thinking about that moment when she wasn't able to hang on to these girls. But these parents were picking up their kids' belongings out of the mud and throughout the camp and putting them in bags. And then one of the dads said, I knew 50 of these girls here. So I knew that was her dress and my daughter's friend's dress. So he was picking it up and putting it in a bag to return to her parents. And so it was and then the director was there comforting everybody who had lost his father the night before too. And he was still there trying to facilitate all of these parents grieving their children and find them. So the strength of people is incredible. Yeah. One of the things that I asked there that day was that they all have escorts or counselors when parents come in. So from that point, that when they came into the camp, that they have somebody with them when they're going and looking for their children's belongings or looking for their children. And so very emotional, but also just so tragic.
The relationship with Texas and the governor has been obviously very good for years with me, but the relationship with Texas and their first responders and us with our first responders and lots of other people, and we brought in a lot of helicopters from all over. And we had a lot of helicopters. It was actually dangerous, a lot of helicopters up there, but they were real pros and they were responsible for pulling out a lot of people, and we got them there fast. And Texas had some good ones too, but the response has been incredible, and the fact that we got along so well, I don't know, I don't even think that's a political thing, but we got along so well, and it was so unified. I think a lot of lives have been saved. That could have been as bad as it was, and you could have lost double or triple. This thing was just really horrible. Well, congratulations on a great job, and appreciate it. I know you're going down. I'll be going down on Friday with First Lady, who will be taking a trip, and we don't want to get in anyone's way because that's what happens. The president goes and everyone's around focused on. I don't want anyone to focus on us, but it's possible they could have somebody saved still. There's a lot of areas. It's a big area, and it's probably unlikely at this point, but there could be. I mean, they're thinking there could be the possibility, but what a tragic situation. A good job, and we'll see you on Friday, and we'll finish out the day here. I think you've been reading a lot about it's a terrible topic when you talk about financial after this, but we have a big country and we've been doing very well.
He's okay.
The tariffs, as you know, are starting to come in at record levels. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in to our country. We never did that before. We're not used to it. We only have tariffs going out. We only adhered to the rules of other nations who charged us tremendous tariffs because we were led by stupid people or people without any business sense. And I'd like to ask Scott, you could maybe talk a little bit about how well we're doing with regard to the money coming in. And the big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today by the letters that were sent out yesterday and today. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. We will have taken in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariffs, the major tariffs not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year. We don't agree with CBO scoring, but for those who do, the CBO scored tariff income over the next 10 years at $2.8 trillion, which we think is probably low. And so, under your leadership, we're witnessing.
And they gave us no credit during this last little, the great, big, beautiful bill. I always use the word great. I add that to it because it really is what it is. It's never been anything like it, actually. And I want to thank all the Republicans that voted for it. And I want to, scold the Democrats because they're voting for tax cuts. They're voting for no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and many, many other things far more important than that. Great health care. And frankly, every Democrat should lose their election because it was purely political vote. They were told not to vote for it. So think of it. We got 218 to 2. And then with the Senate, we had 50 to 3. Democrats didn't vote at all. Not one positive vote with all of the good things in there. Economic development money, tremendous border money. Now you're loaded up on the border. And I don't think we're going to need so much of it because we had zero come in last month, so I'm not sure how much of it we want to spend. You may think about that. You may actually think about saving a lot of money because the wall's been largely built, and it obviously worked. But you may want to think about that. But so I think it's incredible when I watch the Democrats, and they have standard lines like they had Russia, Russia, Russia. They had the laptop from hell. It all came from Russia. They make things up and they go with it, and they feed it to you people in many cases. And they said, "Here's our line," and I hear the new line is death. Oh, it's death. Everyone's going to die. There's nothing to do with death. In fact, we're saving our country. Death is from allowing 25 million people into our country, of which 3 or 4 are stone cold, hard criminals. 11,888 are murderers, many of them committing more than one murder. That's death, and the Democrats did that. Joe Biden did that by allowing people to come in here just totally unchecked, unvetted, open borders, open borders. The whole world was dumped into our country from prisons, from gangs, from mental institutions. We have many people walking the streets, walking in areas that we don't know anything about, that came out of insane asylums. They released their the insane asylum population into our country, and it's amazing the job that you and Tom Homan are doing, by the way, on that. But we have to get them out, and we have no choice. We have to get them out, and we are getting them out. And so, Pete, you want to tell them about our great military and how well we did with respect to the bombers and the B-2? We had the pilots here 2 days ago, and they were incredible people. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Truly a historic mission and demonstrated the skill and courage of the United States military. From those B-2 pilots and families that we had a chance to meet, sir, to the fighter pilots, to the refuelers, to the maintainers, to the air defenders who defended the base. What was demonstrated on the world stage was American military might and capability. And it wasn't just Fordo and Esfahan and Natanz that took notice in Iran. It was the rest of the world, that we have a decisive commander-in-chief willing to use these capabilities, which are the best in the world. As the president pointed out, no one else could have done what America did there on that night, and everyone took notice of that. With the One Big Beautiful Bill, sir, we've got 150 billion additional to invest in Golden Dome and all the other weapon systems and stockpiles and shipbuilding priorities of yours. Another month, another historic recruiting bump. It's not just the Army and the Marine Corps anymore, it's the Navy, the Air Force, and the Space Force, all historically ahead of where they've ever been. So historic spirit inside the military. We had a chance to be at NATO, Marco and I, and see how the world responds to us saying it's time for you to shoulder the burden and take the lead for your continent. It only happens with President Trump leading. And we're proud to be a part of what's going on at the border, sir, with now a fourth national defense area where we're helping get to that number 0 and securing the border. But that mission, Operation Midnight Hammer, re-established deterrence. It reversed what happened in Afghanistan. You saw the debacle of what Biden allowed to happen in Afghanistan and what that did to our image. President Trump said, with Operation Midnight Hammer, we're reestablishing American leadership and deterrence, and we're proud to be a part of it, sir.
And our so-called enemies were watching. They watched every minute of it. They watched. There was very few people that weren't watching, actually, but they watched every minute. It was a perfect military performance, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, if you compare that to the same country, the hostages from years ago, Jimmy Carter, it was unfortunate for Jimmy Carter. He was a nice man, but with the helicopters going down, the sandstorms, the prisoners, they got captured, then the election and the prisoners and Reagan and all the problems. It was nothing but problems. And that was a failure. And ours was not only the pilots. I mean, those machines flew for 37 straight hours. They didn't stop. They went skedaddle. You know the word skedaddle? It means skedaddle. They dropped the bombs and somebody said, skedaddle. Let's get the hell out of here. And every bomb hit its mark and hit it incredibly. And as you know, the Atomic Energy Commission said it's gone. That place is gone. We had a lot of fake reporting, mostly from CNN, where the scammer a writer for CNN, who should be fired, by the way, she was involved with the 51 fake intelligence agents, if you remember that. She did that story, created a story out of it. She created a story out of the laptop from hell, saying it came from Russia, but it actually came from Hunter Biden's bedroom, or worse. Just a scammer, and she's still at CNN, which is pretty amazing. But we'll ask you a question about her. But they came up with this concept that maybe the attack wasn't that good. Maybe and I saw it happen right after the attack. I saw this person on CNN. I actually watch. I like to watch the enemy. You learn from the enemy. And I watch because you have to know where they're coming from. And I watched her say, Anderson, you know, I'm hearing stories that maybe they didn't hit their target. Maybe it wasn't that good a hit. And you know, hearing stories. The next day it was a little more, and the next day a little more. After 3-4 days, she was saying, you know, I don't know. I don't think it was that. Except by that time, everybody knew it was hit perfectly. The evidence is in the planes. The evidence the pilots are the best evidence. But they actually came out of their plane because they were here the other day, and they said, it was so sad. We did such a good job. We flew into very dangerous airspace. I'll never forget, we were in the Situation Room. And they said they have entered Iranian airspace, and everyone took a deep breath because they had more missiles pointed at them, but the equipment is so good, it's stealth, way up in the air, and it was stealth, and they went right through that, and they sort of, by the time they found out they were there, they were already gone. That was the word skedaddle, get the hell out of here. But they were right in the most dangerous airspace in the world, and they took those big, beautiful, very fast, they're unbelievable planes. I mean, they become really beautiful works of art. You know, I always thought they sort of were cool, but now they look better than just cool, don't they, huh? But they dropped the loads, and literally they would hit if you look at this table from here to there, they had a half a refrigerator door is the way to best explain it. Take a refrigerator door, average size, cut it in half. That was their target. They hit every single one. Then we had 30 missiles, Tomahawk, shot from submarines 300 miles away. Every one of them hit their target. It was a perfect mission. Then they came back, almost 37 hours. Every plane worked perfectly. The mechanics were here too. I said, you got to get the mechanics here. We didn't have any problems. If you remember, they had a lot of problems with the helicopters, but they did fly through a dust storm, which they shouldn't have done. Sometimes you say, let's go back and try it on a nicer day. Dust and sand don't work well with helicopters if you know much about helicopters, but that was a horrible embarrassment to us. Then we had Afghanistan, which I think was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, and we would have gotten out. I was the one that got them down. I would have kept Bagram, the big air base, which right now is controlled by China, one among the most powerful runways in the world, thick with concrete and steel. Anything could land, and right now they were 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. I was keeping it. Outside of that, we were leaving, and I would have been out faster than them, but we would have gotten out with strength and dignity. Instead, that was the most botched up mess I've ever seen. They left all that equipment behind, and every year they have a parade running down some third-rate street with the equipment. You know, it's supposed to be Fifth Avenue. It doesn't work. But with all that equipment that they left, they should have taken every ounce of it. I was taking every ounce. I said every screw, every bolt, every nail you take out of there. And Millie said, I remember one time, sir, we're better off leaving the equipment. Why? Well, it's cheaper. I said, cheaper? You mean it's cheaper to leave a $150 million airplane rather than flying into Pakistan or India or someplace, or just flying it straight home? It's cheap. Yes, sir. That's when I knew he was an idiot. Didn't take long to figure that one out. But they left all that equipment, but they left their dignity behind. It was the most embarrassing moment, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Not that we got out. We should have not been there. But that we got out the way we got out, with great embarrassment and death. You had 13 young people. I've gotten to know their families very well. But you had hundreds of people killed that nobody talks about. Yet the other side, many people were killed. Many people are walking around with no legs, no arms from that whole thing. They left from the wrong airport. They should have left from Bagram, because Bagram was a big base with hundreds of miles
about this
of
is the
fencing and territory around it. Nobody would be able to get near it. And they left. So, you know, we've done a great job, and I think people are really starting to see it. They're starting to appreciate it. Pete's done fantastically. That mission was a work of art. And I have spoken to some of our perceived, I don't know if they're enemies, but they're perceived as being potential enemies. And they essentially said the same thing. Very impressive. There wasn't a thing that we didn't lose an engine. We didn't lose it. Just, they landed and they were cheered. But the sad thing was they were cheered, and one of the pilots said, you know, we were a little concerned because when we got out, we were told that on television they were reporting that we may have missed our targets. Sir, we hit every target. That's what I do for a living. We hit every target. In fact, when the bombs hit, a yellow haze came over the horizon that I've never seen before. It just lit up the whole horizon, brighter than the sun. It was like looking into the sun. He goes, we hit our target, because you know what that was exploding. And but they were a little downbeat because they listened to that fake CNN reporting and the fake New York Times. They worked together to try and say that it wasn't perfect. They couldn't say what they missed. All they could say is, maybe it wasn't perfect. And you ought to fire that reporter immediately. You should fire her. Real fake. And so I just want to congratulate those pilots. And, you know, a lot of people don't like bringing things like that up. I do. I always like confronting, because otherwise the public doesn't know that you're a bunch of crooked people. But they know, they've learned.
It's true.
And the media has to straighten out their act. You know, the media's down to 17% approval. You got to do a little better than that. It's important for the country that you do better. I think they ought to make a lot of changes. I think changes are going to be made to the media, but it's hard to have a really successful country if you have a corrupt media, and we really have a corrupt media.
Now you've got the
and
online
nobody really
media.
knows why.
That's us.
I mean, why would you want to have open borders and criminals pouring into our country? Why would you want to have men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone? You know, you'll have to figure that out. But some of you don't. I mean, I'm looking at some people, they love the country, but I look at other people and they can't. But we were really proud of our military. It was, and the people that maybe don't like us or want to play games with us, because I think that had you not had the situation in Afghanistan, I don't think Putin would have gone in. I think when Putin looked at how stupid and incompetent that operation was, he said, wow, this might be a chance. And we're dealing with him now too. We're not happy with Putin. I'm not happy with Putin. I can tell you that much right now, because he's killing a lot of people. And a lot of them are his soldiers and their soldiers, mostly. And it's now up to 7,000 a week. And I'm not happy with Putin. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Questions?
You just said that you're not happy with Vladimir Putin. Is there anything that you plan to do to act on that feeling of
Well, I
unhappiness?
wouldn't be telling you. Don't we want to have a little surprise? You know, one of the things we did with the attack is that, and you asked that question, I didn't mean to be rude, but I'm in a rude because I'm looking at some of these crooked people up here, so I'm rude, but your question was asked very nicely. But one of the things we did is
Nice guy.
we went over every fact. We wanted to get every fact straight. We wanted to have the distance straight, the number of pilots straight. Everything had to be correct, because this was a very important mission. If we failed on this mission, it was beyond the war that, you know, obviously we had with Iran and Israel, and a lot of hatred, a lot of years and years of hatred, centuries of hatred. People have never seen anything like it. So we wanted to be correct with all our facts. So, you know, what I was doing is just asking, it would be great if the media would be correct with their facts. That's all we ask for. So, go ahead. So finish it up.
Oh, yes. Just returning back to Russia, if there's anything that you would signal about your displeasure with them.
Well, look, I'm very unhappy with them. There's no reason for this. It's turned out to be tougher, but it's only tougher. And I will say the Ukrainians were brave, but we gave them the best equipment ever made. We gave them the anti-tank busters that knocked out tanks. I mean, you just aim them in the direction of the tank and the tank is gone. We gave them missiles, the latest and the greatest. They were able to shoot down a lot of things that would have normally wiped out. You know, probably would have been a very quick war. It would have been a war that lasted 3-4 days, but they had the benefit of unbelievable equipment. And Europe gave them too. We gave them far more because Biden shouldn't have done that. He should have equalized. We should have given them the same, or we should have given actually less than Europe. It affects Europe much more than us, but we're in there for over $300 billion. Europe's in there for over $100 billion, but still, Europe gave a lot. And I will say this, the Ukrainians, whether you think it's unfair that we gave all that money or not, they were very brave because somebody had to operate that stuff. And a lot of people I know wouldn't be operating it. They wouldn't have the courage to do it. So they fought very bravely. But we gave them the best equipment in the world. We make the best military equipment by far. There's nobody close. You look at other equipment from other countries, it's not even close. That's why everybody wants to buy our equipment. And that's why we're going to step up these contractors now that make it, and they're brilliant, but they make it too slowly. And we have to step them up, Pete, and let them make it at a much higher rate. Unfortunately, we have to do that. But if you look at our Patriots, if you look at our Tomahawks, if you look at our, what we do with tanks is, you wouldn't want to be driving a tank. You would feel nice and secure, but they are javelins, they're called. And I gave them the javelins. Remember they said Trump gave the javelins and Obama gave them sheets, right? They called Obama at that time. Barack Hussein Obama, if you haven't heard, did a terrible job. But that was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying, and it should end. And I don't know, we get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Do you want to see him? Lindsey Graham has a sanctions bill on
Damn, that's a big thing he
I'm
just
looking
said.
at it, yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passing and passed very, very tough sanctions bill. Yeah, I'm looking at
And
it.
you'd sign that?
It's an optional bill. It's totally at my option. They passed it totally at my option, and to terminate totally at my option. And I'm looking at it very strongly.
Yesterday you said Allison Moore, but
Go ahead, please.
The Council of Economic Advisors released a new report saying that imported goods have actually decreased in price from December.
I know, it's not
through
an
March.
issue.
Well, my question is,
With the tariffs.
Well, the Fed chairman keeps saying that tariffs are going to cause price increases.
Are we
the
sure?
prices just not
Chairman
passed
of the
through
Fed?
yet? Yes, exactly.
Well,
Are the
you
prices-
do a better job than him.
Thank you. Are the prices just not passed through yet?
No, I think what's happening is everything's evening out. You know, when we charge, see what people don't understand, the other countries have been charged, almost every country charges us tariffs. We had deficits with everybody for years, for decades. And we were like this big monolith that made bad deals with everybody. We rebuilt South Korea, we stayed there. It's okay, we rebuilt it and we stayed there. And they pay us very little for the military. I got them to pay billions of dollars, and Biden then canceled it when he came in. I said to South Korea, as an example, we give you free military, essentially, very little. And I think you should pay us $10 billion a year. And they went crazy. But they agreed to 3. So I got 3 with a phone call. And I was satisfied. I said, but next year we have to talk. And then we had a rigged election, and we never got to talk. And you know what Biden did? They probably went to him and they said, listen, Trump treated us terribly, and we shouldn't be paying anything, and he cut it down to nothing. So that's what happens. It's ridiculous. That's the other thing. We're talking to countries about contributing to the military, not only just paying more in NATO, but contributing. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in Germany, 52,000 actually. And that's a huge economic development for them. That's tremendous amount. That's like having a city. It's tremendous money for them, and it's a tremendous loss for us. So we're talking, in a very nice way, we're talking to them about it. It's very unfair. We supply the militaries to many very successful countries. I mean,
Time
South
to pay
Korea
up, Europeans.
is
Pay up.
making a lot of money, and they're very good. They're very good, but, they should be paying for their own military.
President Trump, can I ask you a question about Jerome Powell as well? And then the question to the Attorney General. Jerome Powell, and then I have a question for the Attorney General. Jerome Powell, who you've been pressuring to lower interest rates, he's facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime about the
Well, then he should resign immediately. We should get somebody in there that's going to lower interest rates.
Do you want congressional
Why don't you call
Republicans
for
to-
his resignation?
Do you want congressional Republicans to investigate?
It's okay with me. I think he's terrible. I think, look, we're paying, I call him too late. T-O-O, too late. Like Too Tall Jones for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Too late. He's always late. But he wasn't late with Biden before the election. He was cutting him like crazy. It didn't help too much, did it? But he was cutting him like crazy before the election with Kamala and Biden. He was trying to get them in, I guess. I don't know. He was recommended by somebody
I
that
want to
worked
hear
for
from
me.
Pam Bondi today.
I like you better.
If I could ask the Attorney General a question too, President.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein,
Yes.
it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency.
Epstein.
The former Labor Secretary, who was
Here we go.
Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape
Oh.
on the night of his death?
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
go.
If I
Ma'am,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
Oh.
You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Some
That
of it
is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
That's it. It's over. Jeffrey Epstein. Who? Who's that? Who's Epstein?
What incentives do countries have to
Never heard of him.
It
Who?
seems that deadline keeps moving.
It's always been August 1st, that's what we're paying. A statement was put out today, and I put it out just to make it clear. It wasn't a change, it was August 1st. We don't change very much. You know, every time we put out a statement, they say, he made a change. I didn't make a change. A clarification, maybe. No, August 1st they pay. And everybody pays, everybody has to pay. And the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States. If they don't want to, they don't have to pay, and they don't have to deal here. But if they want to buy and make a lot of money and sell in the United States, they have to do that. You know, if you go back and look at some of the good presidents, our country was the wealthiest, proportionately the wealthiest, from 1870 to 1913. It was an all-tariff country. We didn't have income tax. That came in in 1913. We had tariffs, and we had so much money we didn't know what to do with it. We had, we had a couple of presidents that were very, very strong. McKinley, I guess, more than anybody, but he was the tariff king. But he was very, very strong. It's sort of sad. He made a fortune for this country, became very rich, and then Teddy Roosevelt went out and vice president, and he spent the money. And they said Roosevelt was a great president. And let's say he was a great president, but the money was paid by McKinley with tariffs. Tariffs are charged by other countries at levels that are ridiculous. And you know, I call those other countries to say, and every one of them is willing to give us everything now, by the way, just so you know. Sir, we'll charge you no tariffs, nothing. We'll give you everything. We'll give you access to our markets. We'll give you everything. Is that a correct statement, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Howard, would you say that's a correct statement?
Exactly correct.
It's like they just don't, because they're very spoiled, because for years they ripped us off and we didn't have a president that understood it, or Secretary of Treasury or Secretary of a lot of different secretaries are involved, but certainly Commerce Secretary was, you know, not doing their job. I don't know about Kelly, she's small business. We'll keep it that way, okay? Her small business is bigger than almost all big businesses when you add it all up. But no, they are very respectful of our country. But the incentive is that they have the right to do business with us. Without that, they don't have the right to do business. And that would be okay, too.
And when the next deals,
Yeah, go ahead.
in the next 24 hours, will we hear a flurry of deals?
Yeah, we have a lot of them going out. But the deals are mostly my deal to them. We're picking a number that's low. We don't want to hurt them, and fair. We're picking a number that's lower than, in most cases, lower than what they charged us. But it's amazing when you've paid all this money for years and they get one president that's a little bit different and a little tougher on this subject, and they're willing to drop everything they've been charging us for years and years. I mean, we have countries called, we will have you don't have to pay any tariff to come in and do business. They're giving us total access to their countries. They gave us no access to the country. They say, well, you cannot go into our country. Okay, good. Now it's, we will give you total access and you don't have to pay any tariffs. But please don't charge us tariffs. And we don't like that deal. So the letters I send out are, we have made some deals. We can make a lot more deals. It's just too time consuming. It just makes it more complicated. And we can do things over the years too. You know, we're not hard line. But it's about time the United States of America started collecting money from countries that were ripping us off and laughing behind our back at how stupid we were. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. President,
Thank you.
Yellow, in the yellow.
On the tariff issue, so you've talked about India coming, but then a couple
I don't
days
think the
ago,
Trump
we issued
admin
a
understands how
new
pissed off
tariff
people
threat
are
to
about
members
this
of
Epstein thing.
discussions
I don't think
for-
they get it.
Yeah.
If they aligned with anti-American.
This is not going to go
10%
away.
charge.
That would be India.
People are not
Brazil.
gonna
That's
forget
right, they
about
have to
this.
pay
This is a big
10%
deal.
if they're in
People really
BRICS.
care about
Because
this.
BRICS was set up to hurt us. BRICS was set up to degenerate our dollar and take our dollar as the standard, take it off as the standard. And that's okay if they want to play that game, but I can play that game too. So anybody that's in BRICS is getting a 10% charge.
Is that immediate, sir, or is
Yeah,
that
pretty soon.
if they engage in some behavior?
Well, if they're a member of BRICS, they're going to have to pay 10% tariff, just for that one thing, and they won't be a member long. I thought BRICS was, I said this about a year ago, and it largely broke up. But, there are a couple that hang around, but I thought it largely broke up. BRICS is not, in my opinion, not a serious threat. But what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can take over and be the standard. And we're not going to lose the standard at any time. If you have a smart president, you will never lose the standard. If you have a stupid president like the last one, you would lose the standard. You wouldn't have the dollar as you. And if we lost the world standard dollar, that would be like losing a war, a major world war. We would not be the same country any longer. We're not going to let that happen. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay? And I'm just saying, if people want to challenge it, they can, but they're going to have to pay a big price. And I don't think any of them are willing to pay that price.
There's some question
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you optimistic about reaching the tariff deal with the European Union soon?
Well, the European Union has been speaking to us, Ursula and the whole group, and they've been very nice. They treated us very badly until recently. Now they're treating us very nicely. It's like a different world, actually. They've treated us very badly. They were among the toughest to deal with. Actually, in many respects, they were much worse than China. Look at what they do to our companies. They sue Apple. They sue Google. 17 billion they got from Apple on a lawsuit that they didn't have a case. They have, judges that are European Union judges. And they take so much money away from our country in terms of that, in terms of other things that they do. They're very tough. But now they're being very nice to us, and we'll see what happens. We're probably 2 days off from sending them a letter. We are talking to them. I just want you to know, a letter means a deal. A lot of people said, we got 200 countries. We can't meet with 200 countries. We have a few trusted people that know what they're doing, that are doing a good job, but you can't do it. You have to do it in a more general way, but it's a very good way. It's a better way. It's a more powerful way. And we sent them a letter. You read the letter. I think it was well crafted. And mostly it's just a little number in there. You'll pay 25%, 35%. We have some at 60, 70. Those are ones with massive, where we have massive trade deficits because they've treated us very badly. But I would say in every case, I'm treating them better than they treated us over the years. Don't you agree with that? I could have done much. I could have been much harsher. I don't want to do that. We want to have relationships, but in every case, they treated us far worse than I'm treating them. I'm treating them very good. I could go higher with the tariffs, but I don't want to hurt them. That's why when you just read it, you come up with the number. It's so incredible that prices are actually going down. Just so you know, when I got in, everyone said, eggs are going through the roof. That was the first. I was in for about 4 days, and they started screaming at me about eggs. I said, that's Biden's problem. I didn't know about eggs. But eggs went up about 5 times. You did a fantastic job. And we ended up shortly getting, in fact, for Easter, they said, go out and buy plastic eggs. You can't use real eggs. Well, we bought 200,000 eggs for the White House for the Easter egg hunt that we have at the White House, and there were eggs. We had the price down, and now the price is lower than it was before. We did a good job with eggs, but we did a good job with groceries. Our prices are down in this country. A big part of it's oil. The oil, you had a couple of places last week, you had $1.99 for oil, for gasoline. Nobody thought they'd see that. I want to get it lower if I can, but we've done a good job. You've done a very good job. Do you want to say a couple of words about that, you and Chris, about what's happening with energy?
Well, absolutely, but I would say on the pricing side, President Trump, the fact that you've endorsed and supported a policy of energy dominance, that sends a signal to the market that we're going to have more supply. You talked during the campaign about inflation being a country buster. You've broken the back of inflation. In 6 months, among all the other things you've accomplished.
We have no inflation.
And we've got, and then heading into the 4th of July, these were the lowest gas prices at the pump in 4 years.
Is down there at the very
and again,
end.
for Americans, this is like
Hasn't said a
hundreds of
word.
billions of dollars that stay in their
know she
pockets
knows. You
because we
know
lower the
she
price of
knows.
gas at the pump. But when we lower the price of
And
energy,
she is not
it lowers
happy.
the price of food. It lowers the price of the clothes you wear.
It's the biggest
food
thing.
It's the biggest thing.
It's like a big tax cut. When you get energy down, every 50 cents is like a massive tax cut, and we've gotten it down much below that. You know, we had great energy, great low prices, everything else. When the election turned over, I'm trying to be nice about it. It turned over, shockingly, but nevertheless it happened. Energy started going up, and it went up really bad, and then he went back to the Trump policy. The problem was they didn't know how to do that, and he lost it. He lost that sucker. That big sucker was out of control, and his energy prices went way up, and that's what caused it. But it was also stupid spending. They spent money like, they used to use the term drunken sailors, but I won't use that term. Although it is very descriptive, I won't use that term. I refuse to use it. But they spent money at levels that nobody had ever seen before, and trillions and trillions of dollars wasted on the Green New Scam, greatest scam in the history of our country, other than maybe Russia, that might have been. But the Green New Scam was the single greatest scam in the history of our country, and continues to be, but it's weakened badly. It's hobbling along because people are they're finally getting it. But they spent trillions of dollars on the Green New Scam, getting nothing for it. Devised by a couple of young people that weren't even good college students, you know? Not even good students. Check out their marks. Yeah?
Can you clarify something else, Mr. President, on
No,
what you said last
not
night?
for CNN.
You said you
The
would
last-
send
Not
more
for
money.
CNN. Go ahead.
The last
You said
jobs,
you send more
in the
money.
last jobs
Not for
report,
CNN.
Mr. President, in the
Shut
last
up,
jobs
Caitlin
report,
Collins.
the manufacturing jobs actually lost 7,000 jobs. When will the investments that you've been talking about have an effect?
Well,
on
they're
the-
building the plants now. About 7 have started. We're going to have hundreds started within a short period of time. Lee Zeldin, who may be the most important man in this room, I'm sorry, but he's the one that gets the permits. Where is Lee? He's the one that has to get the permits for the plants and the factories, and permits that used to take 5 years, he's getting in record-setting times. AI, we're leading China a lot in AI, and if we go with this, you know, I'm allowing the plants to build their own electric. I'm allowing them to become an electric utility, so they can produce their own electricity, because we need double to be successful with AI, which is the biggest thing now. We need double the electricity that we have, which is hard to believe. We need even more than that. And they're building plants with their own electricity substations. They don't have to use the grid. And anything they build extra, they're putting into the grid. So we're supplying the grid with brand new electric sources. And you know, it's funny, when they came to see me, they never even asked for that. I told them about it. The reason they didn't, they thought that was an impossibility. You're not allowed to build your own electric. These are massive investments that are being made in building electricity for their plants. And they're going to have, I think, Doug, a lot of electricity left over. And that electricity is going to be passed into the grid and give us no more, you know, like you look at California. They have blackouts and brownouts every week. They're totally out of control. They have a really incompetent governor. Where's Chris? Is he here? Do you want to speak to the subject?
Yeah, I think a huge thing in the One Big Beautiful Bill, Mr. President, because of your leadership, is the ending of these subsidies, as you call them, the Green New Scam. That saves our country $500 billion over the next 10 years. But American taxpayers were paying twice. They were paying that money, $500 billion in the subsidies, and they were paying more expensive electricity price. If you subsidize something, you should at least lower the cost of it. But in this case, we were subsidizing something and paying more for it. So the One Big Beautiful Bill had two huge things: ending wasteful spending, Wind, solar, and batteries combined are 3% of U.S. total primary energy. 3% for $1 trillion, another $500 billion coming. It's just not a good investment, hurting our businesses, hurting our consumers. And the one big beautiful bill also unshackled oil, gas, and coal development in the United States, onshore and offshore.
Hey,
Secretary Burgum has been working tirelessly on how, by getting the government out of the way, private businesses will develop more resources in the United States, lowering costs for American consumers and making much better leverage for the United States to help our allies abroad and reduce the power of our adversaries abroad. So just a huge win on the energy front all around, and I thank you for your leadership.
We're setting records now on energy, and there'll be nothing compared to what they'll be in about a year from now. But we're setting records, and wind is a very expensive form of energy. It's very bad for your beautiful surroundings, the plains and the valleys, and the birds are dying all over the place. You know, the whole thing is a disaster. They're almost exclusively made in China. Not that I have anything against China, because I don't have a great relationship with President Xi, but I asked him, how many wind farms do you have? He makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms, I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half. And you hear noises. And interestingly, in New England, you probably read, where for 50 years they had 2 wells washed up, 50 years. And last summer, they had 14 washed up. Now, I'm not saying that's the wind farm that was built, but maybe it is, right? Probably is. It's tremendously expensive, and it can only be done with subsidy. You know, I know a man that's in that business, and one of the biggest in the world actually runs a company that builds these stupid windmills. And he said, I hate the business because it's the only energy where you need subsidy. He said, energy shouldn't need subsidy. You should make money with energy. So wind. The other one is the solar, those big solar fields. They're taking our farmland. Our farmers are like mortified by it. They hate it. It's very, very inefficient and very ugly too. You know, probably better than a windmill, but you go around and you see all these things that are 3 miles long by 3 miles wide, and you say, what the hell is that? And it's a lot of plastic from China. It's plastic, black plastic from China. Now, we want to be smart. We're going with...
Yep. That's
look,
right.
China now is building 58 coal-fired plants, 58 big ones. They have 62 on the books to build. We've reintroduced clean, beautiful coal, because you know you can do a lot with coal now. Clean, beautiful coal, and natural gas, and all of the other things that we have. But we don't want wind, and we don't want solar, because they're a blight on our country. They hurt our country very badly, and smart countries don't use it. Solar sounds good, I will say, and I like, on occasion, you'll see a roof which is made out of solar brick, but it's a smaller use. We need the kind of thing that's going to fire up our plants, and it's not going to be wind, you know, that is very intermittent, as you probably know. But they've spent a fortune. They've spent trillions of dollars on this stuff, and I'll just give you one other story. A friend of mine is a very successful guy. He went back to see his mother in Minnesota, hadn't seen her in a long time, and he wasn't back for 10 years, which isn't a nice story. I mean, you don't see your mother for 10 years. She's got some difficulties, which I know the guy, he does have some difficulties. He's very successful, but probably not the nicest person. It was actually longer than 10 years, but he went back and he told me he wanted to go and look at the valley. There's a valley in Minnesota that he thought was so beautiful. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. He's driving along the road. He said, oh my, I'll use the word gosh, oh my gosh. He said, oh, he said, it looked like a junkyard. You had 159 windmills. They were all over the place. Some were old, some were newer, different companies, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. Many of them were terminated meaning closed. You can't take them down because the environmentalists don't let you bury the blades because they're made out of a fiber they say is bad for the earth. So they want you to put them up, but they don't let you take them down. But many of them were turned off. He said it looked like a junkyard. Go to Palm Springs, California, and take a look at that pile of junk. And you go into a wealthy neighborhood. Before you get there, you have to ride through hundreds of windmills that are, most of them are turned off, they're rotting, they're rusting, they're 30 years old, 20 years old, and they have a very short life. You know, those windmills have a very short life, especially the ones that are in the nice salty Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, where the salt just gets under that steel and decimates it. No, it's a horrible, horrible thing for our country. And I speak out. It would be nice to say wind, because it sounds so good, doesn't it, Doug? Wind, wind. But it's not. It's these ugly machines, and they're all made, you gotta see, some are a little taller, a little shorter. They're made by different companies. They have different stocks, they have different blades, they have different everything. It is so horrible. And if you look at smart countries, they don't use it.
They're just ugly.
Smart countries don't use it.
Up on the
and
hillside.
we're now a smart country. We're not we're a brilliant country. We're not smart. We're brilliant now. We're going to be a brilliant country. We have to be, because we have to catch up for some really stupid people that did a bad job. Yes, Brian?
Yes, Mr. President, I've got a quick comment, some feedback as a native Texan, someone that I grew up bringing my kids to a camp very near the affected camp now. Thank you on behalf of Texas. I've gotten hundreds of messages that want to thank. If you're in the cabinet room, you can tell the president and his team on behalf of Texans, thank you so much for the quick response and the loving and the hugs. I saw that you gave. Two quick questions.
I saw a Palestinian senator. His name is Schumer. He's a great Palestinian. No, he's a Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian. He's abandoned the Jews. But I saw him say, it's Trump's fault. Yeah, that's right. It's Trump's fault. He was actually, do you ever see John Lovett's The Liar? Where he goes, yeah, I went to Harvard. That's right. This was Schumer. He goes, yeah, it's Trump's fault. That's right, it's Trump. I actually saw that stupid guy try and blame it on me, and I said, man, that's a tough one to take. But his career is limited, because I hear AOC is going to beat him, and she's no bargain either, by the way. Go ahead.
Chuck Schumer is gone soon.
Team effort to get this country back. So that's
although it probably gets worse. Once he's gone, he's probably going to get worse, huh?
My two questions. It looks like we have a rogue judge, an Obama-backed rogue judge that is attempting to block the funding to Planned Parenthood, which the big, beautiful bill cuts off the funding to Planned Parenthood. Any plans to challenge that?
Good.
Absolutely. Yes, we're on it. We're on it. And I texted, I believe, I talked to yesterday Secretary Lutnick and Secretary Besson. I reached out to you to let you know that we were on it in the big, beautiful bill.
Wonderful. And then
I let her handle that question. Did you notice? I said, go ahead, handle that question.
It's all sent to her. Then my second question was Secretary Rollins. You did an amazing press conference today in front of the Department of Agriculture. You talked about the Farm Act and the need to get China out of our country, owning farmland. For the viewers at home that might have missed that, can you recap what that means to national security to make sure we can grow our own food?
Well, thank you, Brian. Sir, if you don't mind. Yes, this morning, Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Noem, and Attorney General Bondi and I had a press conference at the USDA. I just happened to have a chart in case it came up, but obviously the Chinese owning of farmland in our country is a massive national security issue. And for the media, you can see the yellow is where all of the farms have been purchased over the last number of years, and the red is around all of the military bases where that farmland has been purchased. So this is a massive national security issue. The press conference this morning included 3 of our greatest governors as well, Sarah Sanders from Arkansas, Jim Pillen from Nebraska, and Bill Lee from Tennessee. The states have begun taking a leadership role to ban the purchasing of China farmland. Obviously, Congress needs to step up and catch up, and we're going to be working alongside of them as well. We had some of our members, great members of Congress there, but it is time, and I think that this morning was symbolic of many things. The first of this administration working every day to effectuate President Trump's leadership and unequivocal support of America First. But second, just how close we are as a cabinet. I don't know in any other administration that you'd have 4 cabinet members at the USDA on a Tuesday morning when it's about 110 degrees outside with the sun beating down on us, talking about, sir, your vision. So I think it was a great day. It was just the start. There's an executive order coming and some other things coming behind that. But protecting America's farms isn't just about protecting our farmers. It's also about national security. So that's what we discussed this morning.
That's right.
I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal, honestly, and I hope we're going to have a great relationship. It's a big, strong, powerful country. We're more powerful than they are. We have much better military equipment than they do, but we are getting along with them very well. I'm getting along with President Xi very well. We speak often. And with all of that being said, and I understand what you're saying, but I think we're getting along with China very well.
Mr. President, you have sent more weapons to Ukraine, as you said last night. Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We want to put defensive weapons because Putin is not, he's not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to
We're sending more weapons
Ukraine,
to
and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
I think that's a question for the
Go ahead.
Mr.
Yeah.
President, on immigration, the Secretary of Agriculture did say this morning that undocumented workers would not be covered by any amnesty from working on farms. You had said maybe that the ISA folks won't go after those folks on farms. So which is it?
There's no amnesty. What we're doing is we're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that, please?
Yeah, this morning we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland, but obviously this president's vision of no amnesty, mass deportation continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor that they need. Secretary Chavez-DeRimmer has been a leader on this. Obviously this comes out of the Labor Department, but moving toward automation, ensuring that our farmers have that workforce, and moving toward an American workforce. So all of the above.
We've got to give the farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. Laura, do you want to say something about that?
Thank you, Mr. President. On this, thank you, Secretary Rollins, how important this is never to displace the American worker. What the Department of Labor is doing is focusing on what the law entails now, being more modernized, more streamlining to work through the H programs. We're going to have a concierge approach to that, where we have developed a new office to answer the need of our farmers and ranchers and producers, and not to displace the American worker, and follow within the law now. And that does not include an amnesty program at all. And we've seen that working, and we'll continue to have that roll out.
This is
on the other topics that we've somewhat talked about, the jobs numbers, Mr. President, 4 months in a row, we've seen those jobs numbers increase. That's an exciting time for our manufacturers. That was asked earlier. We know it's going to take some time, but through that deregulation process that Lee and I are working on as well, the Department of Labor has rolled out 63 new deregulations that we're going to be moving through. In the first Trump administration, it was successful with over 30. We've just rolled out 63 new ones in order to double down on those manufacturing companies, to let them know that we have signaled through this process that we will assist them in getting the workforce that they need. It's an exciting time. That one big beautiful bill, that was the signal to my former colleagues in Congress to get this done. It's been an important time. I spent time on the ground visiting 7 states in 9 days prior to that bill being passed, because it was the most pro-worker piece of legislation that we will ever see really in this country right now. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That matters to the American worker, because we don't want to take their money and give it back. We want them to keep more of their hard-earned dollars in their pockets currently, and that's what they're excited about. And as I move forward with these tariff talks, I heard a company, orthopedic company in Indiana, say to me, for the first time since you have taken office, Mr. President, their increase in their bottom line by 8% since these tariff talks have happened. Not one company has said the president is not doing a good job. These tariff talks are working. They're feeling it on the ground. The media has told a false story, because what's happening on the ground is positive, and that's what we're seeing in these jobs numbers. So I really, through the Department of Labor, to come in behind all the secretaries and build this workforce is going to be key to the American worker. So thank you for what everybody did this last week. The one big beautiful bill is a doubling down of this, and we're going to see these workers start to grow. And that apprenticeship program is going to be working.
That's
We'll
right.
have that
It's gonna
million
be-
apprentices across the country.
We, as you know, we're building plants all over the country now, which you weren't building any plants 4 years ago. You weren't building anything. But those plants, when they open up, it's going to be, you'll see numbers like you haven't seen ever. I don't think in history you'll never see numbers like what we're going to see in the very near future. Many of them are building the plants. Some are just starting right now. You know, it's a brand new administration. But, and they wouldn't be here except for two things. November 5th, the election, and the tariffs. And frankly, I guess the election was more important because of the tariffs. I mean, another person wouldn't have done this. But they're coming in because of the tariffs. They have to, they're not going to pay 25, 30, 40, 50%, 70, and 100%. And we'll be announcing something very soon on pharmaceuticals. We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that they're going to be tariffed if they have to bring the pharmaceuticals into the country, the drugs and other things into the country. They're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%. We'll give them a certain period of time to get their act together. But they were all here, now they all left. They went to other places because we allowed, people that sat in this room allowed it to happen. And I don't allow it to happen. The people in this room don't allow it to happen. So we're going to be announcing pharmaceuticals, chips, and various couple of other things, you know, big ones. We did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out.
Mention that's copper.
And we did cars. And now, today we're doing copper.
Copper and lumber. What would that tariff be on? The section tariff?
I believe the tariff on copper, we're going to make it 50%.
50%.
Any breakthroughs in
See, I'm glad he didn't question it.
Any
I sort of thought, what would that be? That was a quick one. I didn't have much time, but he agreed with me. That's why he's Howard.
Any breakthroughs on Gaza with the Prime Minister, and there's reports that you're meeting with Netanyahu again tonight?
Yeah, I am. He's going to come over again tonight. We're talking about Gaza, mostly Gaza right now.
Gaza.
It's he's been very unfairly treated. I think what they've done to him in Israel is very unfair, having to do with this trial. I think, you know, he's a wartime prime minister, had an unbelievable outcome, and I think he's been treated very unfairly. But he's coming over later. We're going to be talking about, I would say, almost exclusively Gaza. We got to get that solved. Gaza is a tragic. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And he wants to get it solved, and I want to get it solved, and I think the other side wants to get it solved. Steve, could you talk on that, please?
We're in proximity talks now, and we had 4 issues, and now we're down to 1 after 2 days of proximity talks. So we are hopeful that by the end of this week, we will have an agreement that will bring us into a 60-day ceasefire. 10 live hostages will be released. 9 deceased will be released. We're meeting at the president's direction with all the hostage families to let them know. And we think that this will lead to a lasting peace in Gaza.
And you're doing a good job. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. A lot of hate, you know, this is called long-term hate. But we think we're going to have it solved pretty soon, hopefully with a real solution, a solution that's going to be holding up.
And can I follow up? This is, I think, the first cabinet meeting since Elon Musk has now been a special government employee, not here anymore. He's now saying he's going to create a third political party. Are you worried about the impact that could have?
No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for me.
Are you second guessing any of the cuts that Doge made since you
No. Look, we cut hundreds of billions of dollars with Doge. We could have done it differently. I would have done it differently a little bit, maybe, but it was something that we saved a lot of money. You can always second guess. I guess some of the people in this room maybe would have done it slightly differently, and some would have done it exactly the way it was done. But it was dramatic, and it was important, and we found a lot of things like billions of dollars given to people for environmental protection, where they had $100 in the account, like in Atlanta, Stacy. And then you had another one with 20 billion here, 20 billion here, and 2 billion here, and 15 billion. And Lee, you might want to mention just a couple of those things. We really got because of Doge.
At the Trump EPA, the one big beautiful bill was filled with many big beautiful wins for the taxpayer. It delivered a sledgehammer to the Green New scam. Billions of dollars rescinded. It's a big deal for the American taxpayer who sees money go through pass-throughs that are filled with self-dealing and conflicts of interest. They see unqualified recipients. They see reduced agency oversight, and they want accountability with their tax dollars, and they got it. In the example of the Stacey Abrams connected NGO, they received $100 in 2023. They got $2 billion in 2024. They had to complete training on how to develop a budget that was put into their grant agreement. They, out of nowhere, started paying a CEO $800,000, a COO $450,000, 22 people making over 150 grand. Out of nowhere, this is tax dollars. So money go through pass-throughs, through other pass-throughs, through other pass-throughs, and we lose oversight over it. And you see that it's going to former Biden officials, it's going to former Obama officials, it's going to Democratic donors. And we're not here saying we want to take money from a left-wing NGO and give it to a right-wing NGO. We want to give it back to the taxpayer. This is about us being good stewards of American tax dollars without any apology or regret. That's why President Trump was elected last November. Because there were a whole lot of people who maybe they hadn't voted Republican in a long time. Maybe they didn't even vote for President Trump the first time around in 2016, but they're regretting that vote from 2016 and they were making it right in 2024. So the One Big Beautiful Bill gave us the tools to rescind billions of dollars more. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars that'll get wasted per electric vehicle as an example of this money that was going through it. They gave $50 million to a group called Climate Justice Alliance. They say that climate justice runs through a free Palestine. The Biden EPA gave $50 million to a group that says the climate justice runs through a free Palestine. We say that if you're going to spend $1 in the name of remediating an environmental issue, then spend the $1 on remediating an environmental issue. We say that we can protect the environment and grow the economy. We want to help grow more baseload power in this country. So why is it that it took this long for this team to get assembled, to be able to fix the mess that we inherited? But gosh, we love showing up at our jobs every single day, first thing in the morning, because all day long we get things done for the American taxpayer. And Congress did its part last week by passing the One Big Beautiful Bill to deliver this accountability and to cut off the Green New scam. So maybe it's a bad day for Stacey Abrams. Maybe it's a bad day for all those well-connected Democrats getting paid off. But you know what? God bless America. Because at the end of the day, President Trump is here, J.D. Vance is here, and the greatest cabinet ever assembled to deliver that much-needed and highly demanded accountability.
We're going to have a lot to talk about.
That was a very good answer.
I don't really want to interrupt, but I think they're wrapping up here, but we're going to have a lot to talk about whenever they're done with this.
It's from the heart. Yeah. It's from the heart.
I'm saving it. I'm charging up, okay?
To go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the fight. Germany and Germany and the Netherlands have had intelligence saying that. What does U.S. intelligence believe, and what do you believe about the use of chemical weapons? And would you agree that that's a case for court?
Well, I'd ask John maybe to discuss it if you'd like, John.
Well, Mr. President, obviously chemical weapons, if it's documented in its use, it's illegal. It's against all international laws of armed conflict and treaties. And obviously I can't share in this room with this audience the intelligence that I can share with you privately, but obviously you're not going to stand or allow for any violations of international law by anyone.
That's right. Thank you. Could I ask Sean to Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy, former great congressman, very popular, decided to go out and make a couple of bucks. He made a lot. Then he got bored with that, though. He likes serving people better, the people. And could I ask you to just discuss a very important subject to me, and that's the modernization of our equipment at airports so that planes aren't crashing into each other and bad things don't happen. It should have been done many years ago. We were going to do it, and then the election precluded that, unfortunately. But we're doing it now. Could you tell them where we are?
Yeah, if I could start with Newark. You guys all covered what happened in Newark. We had outages for a couple of 30-second outages a couple months ago. We have, in 2 months, Mr. President, its historic speed, laid new fiber lines for communication. and tested those in the next month. So those new lines for the Philly Tracon that controls the Newark airspace, they're up and running, lightning fast speed. June was the most on-time June ever in the history of Newark for air travel. So that's going incredibly well. By the way, we shouldn't have dealt with this because Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg had moved the center from New York to Philadelphia. They didn't test the lines. They didn't do the work, which is what brought us all these problems. But in the big beautiful bill, we got $12.5 billion. This is a historic investment in air traffic control. And so what the money is going to allow us to do is move from copper to fiber all over the country. So new copper lines. We think we can do that in a year and a half to 2 years. We have radar that dates back to the 1950s, some of it from the 60s and 70s. We get brand new radar across the country as well. We have some infrastructure money to build TRACONs and centers, the en route centers that control the traffic across the country. So this is a massive new start to rebuild air traffic control. And again, this is dilapidated. Americans think that their government takes care of them and makes the investments that are necessary to make the country work. And for 30, 40 years, the investments weren't made. And so under your leadership and direction, we are making those investments. And per your direction, right now we are interviewing what we could call a general contractor or an integrator. One company to manage. It's a massive project. The FAA is not qualified to manage this kind of a project. So we are now going through the process of finding who that one company will be to manage the whole project. We'll interview those companies together and make that selection. So we'll write one big beautiful check to one beautiful company that'll be responsible for this whole build. But if I just make one last point, this is not enough money. We're going to need more. But this is a massive new start. The biggest investment. We'll need some more money on top of it, but a great start from the big beautiful.
It's a starter.
The start.
It was very important to us, and just to cover that, there have been accidents, and my pilots, I would often hear them say, "Oh, good," and they would use a different system, a different country to land in New York. They'd use the radar and other things from a different country. I said, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, our system is so bad," and I knew that we were all set to start. And Boot Edge came in, and what they did was so crazy because they hooked it copper into fiber, into steel, they had all different systems. They had hundreds and hundreds of contractors, different contractors for different airports. They spent billions of dollars, and they made the system worse because you can't hook copper into fiber. It doesn't work that way. You just can't do it. It's not doable, but they tried to do it. Didn't work out too well. And in the end, it was just a complete disaster. We want to have one great company. Now, Raytheon's going to bid, IBM's going to bid. We have 5 or 6 bidders that really are good and do this stuff. And we want one, I tell, because I know about overruns. I look at the railroad out in California, headed up by one of the worst governors in our country, who I used to get along with actually, but he's just, when you lose 25,000 houses and you would have had your cities burned down. If we didn't step in, Los Angeles would have been burned to the ground. But you look at that, and I said, I really know how to build, and you got to have one guy, one contractor, one great one, whether it's IBM or Raytheon is good, but you have 4 or 5 that are really, really great, and they're all bidding against each other. But you don't want to have one doing the wire and one doing the digging and one doing the demolition and then they're all saying they all blame each other because they're saying they were late and therefore you have to pay me millions of dollars more money. I know the system so well, and we're going to have a great company do the whole thing. We're going to get a fantastic price. Maybe we'll get them, they're very big and very strong, and maybe we'll get them to make a contribution toward getting it done at the right price. But we're going to have a great system. When we finish, we will have the best system on earth, done by one of the 2 or 3 best companies. There are only a few companies can do this. This is not. But if you would have seen what this other group did, they were going crazy. They had, I heard 3,000 contractors. And then when it all came together, guess what? It didn't work. It's a disaster. So we're going to have in a pretty short period of time, it's going to take us about 2 years to build it, and we'll have a contract given out probably over the next couple of months. We have some great bidders, some great companies that want to do the job. You're going to have great air traffic control.
Can I just make one last point of this? So the last administration signed a contract with an American company to fix the copper to fiber, and that contract was a 15-year contract. The system is failing today, but that's how idiotic and incompetent the last administration was. And under your leadership, we're saying, listen, we don't have time. We don't have 15 years. We don't have 5 years. We have to do it right now. And so the president always talks about on time and on budget. We have embraced that. We are going to be on time and on budget. And by the way, you mentioned a train out in California. Stay tuned for, probably give us 5 days and you'll have an answer on what's going to happen with the $4 billion that we potentially have invested on a train that's going to go nowhere. It's going to be $120 billion that'll never connect San Francisco to LA. Again, the last administration wasted so much money on projects that never work. If you're going to have high-speed rail, you're going to invest billions, we should actually have high-speed rail in America, not boondoggles that fund political friends and allies and family
They have
members.
from San Francisco, inside of San Francisco to inside of Los Angeles. Should have never been built because airplanes do it better. And you could drive it. You could drive it. No problem with driving it. The roads aren't even crowded. So they were going to do this, somebody's idea. Somebody got paid off a lot of money and they started it. It was going to cost a very small amount of money.
The roads are getting a lot less crowded these days.
Literally hundreds of times what the original. And now what they did is they said, well, going into the city is too big a deal. So we'll leave it 25 miles short of the city. So now they're leaving it. They're not going to finish it, really. It's not the same project. So now they're leaving it outside of San Francisco and outside, short of each. They just want to get it done, and I've never seen cost overruns. You know, if you have a cost overrun of 10%, you should be ashamed of yourself. 20%, you should not do any more jobs. This is a cost overrun of 2,000%, something like that. It's unlimited, and it's not finished. And maybe it will never get finished. And I told Sean, look at it from every standpoint, but we don't want to, you know, we have federal money going into that. And it's like throwing it out the window. So whatever you can do to stop it.
$15 billion and not one track has been laid. $15 billion and we're 16 years into the project, not one track.
Wow.
Mr. President,
on New York, you're the most prominent Republican in the country from the city. What do you want to
anywhere else?
I
don't want to be a wise guy. Perhaps I can. Maybe Marco.
But how do you want Republican voters in the city to vote in the upcoming mayoral election? Should they vote for Eric Adams? Should they vote for Sliwa? Should they pick someone else?
Look, number one, you have a communist running, and you shouldn't vote for him. He's a disaster. He's leading. He's got the Democrat nomination because that shows you where the Democrats have gone. He actually wants to take over the grocery stores of John Catsimatidis, who's a great guy, a rich guy, grocer, does a good job, wants to take over. He actually called me the other day. He's concerned his stores are going to be taken from him, and they won't be run like John runs them. Believe me, he runs a good operation. But he actually said he wants to run his own grocery stores. No, this is a man who's not very capable, in my opinion, other than he's got a good line of bullshit, and he's convinced them to go with him. Now, as you know, Cuomo, who does have capability, is running, but he got knocked out, and now they're running as, you have Eric Adams, the current mayor, you have Cuomo, and you have Curtis Sliwa. And Curtis runs every 4 years. He seems to be a fixture on the running scale. But you know, it's I'm not getting involved. But I can tell you this: I used to say we will not ever be a socialist country, right? Well, I'll say it again: we're not going to have. If a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same. But we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. We could run D.C. I mean, we're looking at D.C. We don't want crime in D.C. We want the city to run well. Susie Wiles is working very closely with the mayor, and they're doing all right. I mean, in the sense that we would we would run it so good, it would be run so proper, we'd get the best person to run it, the crime would be down to a minimal, would be much less. And, you know, we're thinking about doing it, to be honest with you. We want a capital that's run flawlessly, and it wouldn't be hard for us to do it. And we've had a good relationship with the mayor, and we're testing it to see if it works. But New York City will run properly. We're going to bring New York back. I love New York. You know, I loved New York for a long time. Then we had a bunch of crooked people in there. You have an attorney general who's a total stone cold crook, New York State, Letitia James, a total crook. All they do is want to go after political opponents. They do what's ever expeditious for them. She's the one that took out Cuomo because she wanted to run for governor, and then she ended up getting 1% of the vote. She polled at 1%. She dropped out, went back to attorney general. You have a lot of crooked things going on in New York. We're going to straighten out New York. Maybe we're going to have to straighten it out from Washington. But when I see a communist who has actually gotten a Democrat, pretty much gotten the Democrat
he is a communist
nomination, they also went to that new form of voting, which is a beauty. You go in there in third place, you come out in first. That's that form of voting that they have gone to. You know what I'm talking about. It's not too good. We're going to do something for New York. I can't tell you what yet, but we're going to make New York great again also. We're going to make it great again with the country. What we've done in this country in the last 6 months, nobody has ever seen it. And I told the story, the King of Saudi Arabia, I was over there. They gave us $5.1 trillion between Saudi Arabia and UAE, Qatar. 3 stops, $5.1 trillion coming into our country as an investment, biggest investment ever made. And it's all going to good stuff. I mean, all real big, good stuff. Energy projects, big, big things. But they all 3 told me essentially the same thing. We thought your country was dead. And now you've got the hottest country in the world. We're right now riding the hottest country. And you can all be proud of it. We're in the hottest country. This is the hottest country in the world. There's nobody close. Made hotter by some great pilots and great machines that nobody else has. Those great, big, beautiful machines, they rode those machines right into the toughest territory, and nobody knew what the hell happened. And then they hit their targets perfectly, and it was complete and total obliteration. And that's why that war ended, Steve. They told me that's why the war ended. The war ended when they saw that, it was over. And we're very proud of it. But
folks, once again, real quick, once this is done, we have a lot to talk about. Okay, this is a big day. We're going to break down all of this. I have some big thoughts on this. Stand by.
Whether it was she or Biden, they're the same. He may have been more competent than her, and that's hard to believe, right? But if you had that ideology in, I don't believe you would have had a country anymore. I think you would have had a country that was broken up. But we had a dead country. Now we have the hottest country in the world, and everybody knows it, and everybody said it. Mr. Vice President, do you have anything to say?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say that I'm very proud of the whole team. I think everybody has worked together. You see Pete and Marco and Steve working on some of the diplomacy, Christy and Pam working on the border. We just have a really, really solid team, and we've done a lot of good work. And in particular, I want to congratulate the White House staff led by the President on getting the One Big Beautiful Bill passed. Yeah. I was personally skeptical, sir. I never told you this, but I was skeptical we'd be able to get that thing done by July 4th. We did it because we worked together and we worked very well. So it's an honor to be a part of it, but I'm really proud of you guys for doing a great job.
The beautiful thing about it, it had something for everyone.
That's right.
Most people said it had to be broken into 7 bills. It's so big. The problem was that some of those 7 have nothing for anyone, but they had to be done for the country. You know, sometimes you have to do things for the country that aren't necessarily popular. We had a couple of them, and that wouldn't have worked. So the One Big Beautiful Bill, many people said it could never be approved. Too big, too everything. There's too much. But it had something very big and very important for everyone, and it's great for the country. And remember, the Democrats have come up with a false narrative, you know, just whatever. It's just a line that they send to everybody and that they print. I think in the case of this, it's death, death. Everyone's going to die. I heard that. Everyone's going to, just the opposite. Everyone's going to live. What we're doing is saving our country and making it much bigger, better, and stronger than it ever was. I'd like to ask, Marco's been doing such a great job. Do you have anything to say?
Well, it's just going through a list here, Mr. President, and I think the Vice President's pointed out to the great team you have, and all these achievements that have happened domestically. But you think about it, under your leadership, we prevented and ended a war between India and Pakistan. NATO's now at 5% for the first time ever, the highest numbers ever. A peace deal between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. A 12-day war that ended with an American operation that we're the only country in the world that could have done. Hopefully, pretty soon, a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia. The entire Middle East and the infrastructure of it has the potential now to change because of Syria and Lebanon, and it hasn't even been 6 months.
Sure.
It hasn't even been 6 months, so it's a great testament to your leadership in this team.
Well, thank you very much, and you've done a fantastic job. Could I just ask Linda, she's involved in so much, she's so talented and so good, and she's working on a couple of little things like Harvard, who was given $5.5 billion over a short period of time. We caught him on that one, that's crazy, but you're working on so much, you want to bring education back to the States. How are you doing?
Well, absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity. I think on the big, beautiful bill, what we saw, with school choice, that's finally on a national basis at the state level, but there are opportunities now for scholarships more and more often for kids who are attending schools. It's going to be a big turnaround. I think one of the biggest accomplishments we had over the past week was the University of Pennsylvania with the Title IX ruling that Leah Thomas was stripped of her title. Riley Gaines and Paula Scanlon and other women who have stood, so strong against men and women's sports. And when you put out the executive order, that just solidified and gave them the opportunity. So those are a couple of really, really big wins, and thank you for that opportunity.
And how are you doing with Columbia and Harvard?
We're negotiating hard. I think we're getting close to having that happen. It's not wrapped up as fast as I wanted to, but we're getting there.
Okay, good. And you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
You've been a good team.
Yep, you have a great team.
Around this table, a lot of people would help with that.
That's right. Thank you very much. Maybe just in closing, we spent a lot of time, effort, very little money on this room. This is called the Cabinet Room. It's been here for a long time. And it had some pictures that were not many of them and not very good ones. And I actually spent time in the vaults. The vaults are where we have a lot of great pictures and artwork. And I picked it all myself. I'm very proud of it. That's Andrew Jackson, the great Andrew Jackson. That's a gentleman named, and we call him President Polk. He was sort of a real estate guy.
And Polk, we love him
people
too.
Don't realize he was he was a
Mexican-American
a
War.
one-termer, but he was a very good president.
Yep.
But, and I'm not sure I should be doing this, he actually gave us the state of California. He was the one. He was the one that hooked it up. So I'm not sure, maybe he won't be there for long. But if you notice, the frame is the exact same size almost as the other one, as Andrew Jackson. So that was a part of the reason too, I have to be honest. But Polk was actually a very good president who's got the same frame that I needed, okay? And up here you have the original George Washington right behind the light. And then you have Dwight Eisenhower, who was a very underrated president, built the interstate system, and he was the toughest president, I guess, until we came along. But I don't mind giving up that crown, because I don't want to be too tough on it, but we want to be humane. But he was the toughest president on immigration. He was very strong at the borders, very, very strong. And sometimes you can be too strong. He was strong on the borders, and during a certain period of time, they were so strong that almost every farmer in California went bankrupt. And we have to remember that. We have to work together, and we have to remember that. But he was a very good president, and a very good general, and a very good president, and I thought he deserved a position somewhere on this floor. And then you have, this is very exciting to me, he was not a Republican, to put it mildly, but he was, he was a four-termer. He was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And if you notice, there were a lot of ramps outside. We have ramp, people say it's an unusual place for a ramp. It was because of him. He was wheelchair-bound, but he was an amazing man. It's an amazing portrait, and we used to have him in the room, a different portrait, and it was a terrible portrait. It was almost like it was done by a child. And I used to say, you know, I can't believe that he would have approved of that portrait of himself. And I was in the vaults and looking at things. I said, what's that? And we have some great curators here. We have 6 curators at the White House. They have 2 for paintings, they have them for furniture, they have them for different things. I guess cost is no object. Okay, cost is, maybe I'd have 1, but that's all right. But we have 6, and they're very talented, though. And he said, that's a picture of FDR. I said, really? Let me see it. They took off the wrappings, very well preserved. And I said, that's the picture they've been looking for years. That was the picture of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I said, oh, wow. And likewise, that frame-wise, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work if you have, I want to be nice, but it doesn't work if you have a big frame, a little frame, but it's like perfection. I'm a perfectionist. The mirror was down in the vaults also. I said, where is this from? And it's a very old, very storied mirror, beautiful. We put that up. And then over there is Honest Abe Lincoln. And that picture was in his bedroom. And we thought that this would be a very important place because this is where wars are ended. I'm not going to say wars are declared. I'm going to say wars are ended, okay? We'll be positive. And that's the picture of Abe Lincoln from his bedroom, sat in the bedroom for many, many years. That was his favorite picture of himself. And the Lincoln bedroom's very famous. You remember when Bill Clinton had it and he rented it out to people. Okay. We don't do that. But it's an incredible room. And we took that picture from his bedroom. That's Abe Lincoln. And then over here you have John Adams, and it's they were the first occupants of the White House, 1800. And John Quincy Adams, Mrs. Adams, they were the first occupants. So we have them looking at each other, and in between their stare is Abraham Lincoln trying to make peace. And that picture was in a room that I have that was not important, like the cabinet. I gave it up. I said, I have to give it up because that's one of the greatest pictures in the White House. The White House is tremendous art. And the Oval Office, when we're there, we'll go over that. That's really been something. Then we got the drapes, so we got the whole thing. We got new drapes. We got new, wasn't a big expense, very, very small. And we took some of the Chinaware and silverware and trophyware, they call it, from the vaults, and we had it cleaned up, hadn't been shined up in 100 years. Some of this has sat in the vaults for over 100 years, amazing. Over 100 years. Many of the pictures that were put up in the Oval Office as an example, those two as an example. So he was president, they moved in 1800, and he won the election, I believe, in November of 1800, John Quincy Adams. And we thought that would be, he was considered to be a good president, and he was the first occupant of the White House, so it sort of made sense. And I love the frame of those pictures. Look at those frames, you know? I'm a frame person. Sometimes I like frames more than I like the pictures. And we have the flags of the Marines, and Space Force now has its own flag. I'm very proud of Space Force, but the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, the whole thing. And Coast Guard is right there. You never forget the Coast Guard. They do a great job. So we have the flags throughout the office. And it's really become quite a beautiful place. I don't want to tell this, Marco pointed it out. I was going to leave the clock. So as president, you have the power. If I go into the State Department or Department of Commerce or Treasury, if I see anything that I like, I'm allowed to take it. Do you believe this? So I'm in Marco's, I see this gorgeous clock, grandfather clock, and there it is. I said, Marco. He didn't know about it. I had to read him the rule and regulation. I said, Marco, I love this clock. Look at it. It's beautiful. He said, what clock? I said, the clock that's in the other room is incredible, and nobody gets to see it there. Marco, I tried to talk him into it first, and it sort of worked, and then I had to use a little more. I said, I'd love to take that clock out and put it in the cabinet room. He said, no, are you serious? I said, Marco, I have the right to do it, Marco. And he said, all right, what the hell? So that's his contribution to the cabinet room. But it's, by the way, it's an incredible clock. And, you know, it's an important room. So you may see it again. Maybe we'll move it back sometime. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. But it really is great. Here we put out, you know, these lamps have been very important, actually. Whether people love them or not, but if you see pictures like Pearl Harbor and Tora Tora Tora, you see movies about the White House and where wars are being discussed, oftentimes they'll show those lamps or something like those lamps, something that looks like them, probably not the reals, because I don't think they were allowed to. This is a very important room. This is a sacred room, and I don't think they made movies from here. You never know what they do. But they were missing medallions. See the medallions on top? They had a chain going into the ceiling. And I said, you can't do that. You have to have a medallion. They said, what's a medallion? I said, I'll show you. And we got
We've got a lot to talk about today, folks.
Medallions.
Just
and you see them,
take my word for it.
The lamps looks better. So we did these,
you wouldn't even believe
these
it.
changes. And you know, when you think of it, the cost was almost nothing.
Thank you.
We also painted the room a nice color, beige color.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And it's been really something. The only question is, will I gold leaf the corners? You could maybe tell me, my cabinet could take a vote. You see the top line moldings, and the only question is, do you gold leaf it? Because you can't paint it. If you paint it, it won't look good, because they've never found a paint that looks like gold. You see that in the Oval Office. They've tried for years and years. Somebody could become very wealthy, but they've never found a paint that looks like gold. So painting it is easy, but it won't look right. And the question is whether or not we should gold leaf it. Linda, do you have an opinion?
I gold leaf it.
You like it the way?
No, I gold leaf it.
You'd gold leaf it?
Yeah.
Who would gold leaf it? Could I raise you? How about, would you gold leaf it?
I was going to ask about McKinley, one of your favorite presidents.
Well, McKinley was a great president who never got credit. In fact, they changed the name of Mount McKinley, and I changed it back, because he should have been, the people of Ohio he was the governor of Ohio. The people of Ohio were very happy when I did that, I heard. They were very insulted. They took the name of Mount McKinley off. That was done by Obama a little while ago, and I had to change it back. I changed it back. He actually was a great president. He was a president, he was the tariff, the most, I guess, since me. I think I'm going to outdo him, but he was a tariff president. He believed that other countries should pay for the privilege of coming into our country and taking our jobs and taking our treasure. That's the way he explained it. They took our jobs and they took our treasure, and for that they should pay. And he made them pay, and he built a tremendous fortune. In fact, in 1887, they had the Great Tariff Committee was set up in 1887 because our country had so much money, we didn't know what to do with it. And they set up a committee of, as they called them, elites, a term that we have to change, because I think a lot of the people that are elites aren't elite. I think the people that aren't elite are elite, so we're going to have to maybe switch that around somehow. But they had a committee that was set up to spend the money, because it was such a large amount of money. At that time, it was nobody had seen anything like it. And it all came in from tariffs. And people didn't pay tax. There was no income tax system. I told you that came back in 1913. That came back, and
all tariffs before that. That is right.
Lived well for a while, and then you had the Great Depression, and then later they tried to bring back tariffs, but the whole thing was, this was after the Depression. It was one of the great misconceptions, is people like to say, oh, but it was during the, but no, the country had a Great Depression, and then after the Depression, after long.
You know what's going on here? Trump, after this, is scheduled to have a meeting with Bibi. He must not want to talk to Bibi. He's out here rambling about American history. I appreciate it. I like it, by the way, but he must not be in a hurry to go talk to Bibi. That's what's going on here.
This is a very important room, very powerful room, great room. And we've done similar, but even beyond this, in the Oval Office. We brought back pictures of some of the great presidents. Many of them were in the vaults for over 100 years. Originals all, beautiful, beautiful things. And rather than sitting in a vault downstairs for 128 years, I thought we should display that. And we did that, I think, in a really good way. We've gotten very high marks. but it's interesting. People walk into that room and they look around the room. They don't even want to talk to me. They could look at it for hours. It's funny when people come into the Oval Office. It's such an incredible. It's a sacred place. When people come into the Oval from the biggest people in the world, presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, in one case at least, queens, and the biggest business people in the world, they walk into that office and they always say, there's no place like this in the whole world in terms of the power. And I mean, it's beautiful and all, but there are other beautiful offices. You have businessmen that have offices that are, you know, full floors of office buildings, floor to ceiling glass, and they walk in there and they say, there's no place like this anywhere in the world. There's no place. And, you know, it's what it represents maybe more than the physicality of the room itself. So it's an honor to have you all, media. It's an honor to have you. I just want to say we have a fantastic cabinet. Every one of them is a star in my book. And if they're not, I'll let you know about it. I'll throw them to the wolves. I'll throw them to the wolves in 2 seconds because our country comes first, right? But I just want to thank you all for being here. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you, press.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
I'll tell you some other time. Thank you.
Thank you, press.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, press.
Are we talking about next week or
Yes.
There it is. That is President Trump's first cabinet meeting, publicly broadcast cabinet meeting in about 9 weeks. All right, folks, how was it? Good or bad? Give me a one-word answer in the chat. Good or bad? What do you guys think about that? One-word answers only. Can I flip on my? You know, I'm just going to go ahead and make my webcam bigger here. That'll do. That'll do, folks. Let's have a chat. I've been taking notes. I've been holding my thoughts here. That is auto playing or something right there. And what do I want to do? Bad, good, bad, good. Okay, maybe 50-50 here. I'm seeing. You know, here's what I'll do. There, we can do this. This is going to work. That's a good spot for this. Okay. All right, folks. You guys are up on the screen here. All right. Can I make you guys a little bit bigger? Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, first off, we had 20 gifted memberships. Guys, thank you for watching that together as a community here. I've been charging up. We've got a lot to talk about now. JS, thank you again for the gifted memberships. I appreciate that a lot. 2 out of 17 that McDonough illegally took out of the BBB was not put back in gender affirming care, blocked Medicaid funding for gender affirming care, remove SNAP. Yeah. Hey, Wolf's Watch, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you all for tuning in today. Here's what I'm going to say real quick. If you guys are new to the broadcast, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are going to break stuff down. This is the part of today's broadcast where things get maybe a little bit controversial. Maybe I piss some people off. I don't know here, but we're gonna do it live. We're gonna do it raw. We're gonna have some nice adult, big boy conversations about this, folks. Let's kick this off. First off, ladies and gentlemen, what is perhaps the number one thing that differentiates us over here on the intelligent right side of the aisle? What differentiates us from the incompetent progressive left, the voters of the progressive left, the politicians on the progressive left? In my opinion, there's a lot of things. We're very different. In my opinion, the number one thing is that we are not an incompetent, brainless hive mind. We are smart, intelligent, patriotic, critically thinking Americans. We believe in free speech, and we also believe in holding our nation accountable and our political elite, our ruling class, our politicians accountable. We don't flip our brains off. We are asking questions over here. We're saying, hold up, why this, what that, what happened here, what's going on, this, that, okay? We have brains, we have common sense, okay? We're asking questions. Now, we are also able to look at our own nation as well as our own party and be critical and say, listen, this is something we need to improve on, Okay. Hey, this thing here, that thing, this thing, that thing. We can look at ourselves. We can be introspective. That's a good word for this. And we can say, listen, we're a little bit weak here. We got to improve on this. We got to change that up. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some of the things that I don't like about what we just watched today at this cabinet meeting. Once again, this was President Trump's first cabinet meeting in 9 weeks. Now, I will say, forewarning, we're about to be very critical. We're going to reflect on this. We're going to be introspective here. If you're one of these guys that's like, hey, listen, hey, shut up, trust the plan. Don't think about it. Don't ask any questions. Just shut up and shut the hell up and trust the plan and don't say. You're about to be very upset. If that's you, if you're one of these brainless guys, hey, no questions. Hey, no commentary. Hey, you're not, hey, just you need to shut up, get in line and shut the hell up. And hey, if that's you, then you're about to be very upset because we're about to do the exact opposite of that. Total warning. Okay. I'm not like that. That's not how I operate. In fact, I'll say the reason why I like Trump, the reason why I support Trump, the reason why I voted for Trump 3 times, the reason why, I mean, my career is talking about Trump. This is my full-time job is because I think it's because I have a brain. The reason why I love Trump is because I have a brain. So if you're telling me to flip the brain off, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, we're going to move on now. Now, real quick. First off, I want to go through the positives because I don't want this to sound too just like insanely negative here. Okay, first off, you guys know I've been championing the big, beautiful bill for months now. I am happy. I'm ecstatic the big, beautiful bill got passed. They talked about the big, beautiful bill today. I'm happy they talked about it. Is the big, beautiful bill perfect? No. Is everybody cheering? Is everybody ecstatic? Does everybody love every single aspect or component of that bill? No. That said, I am so happy the bill got passed. The positives of that bill far outweigh the negatives of the bill. I'd say 10-1 at a ratio of 10-1. I am happy the bill passed. I have been talking publicly on live broadcasts and on videos talking about why this bill is important. The border is secure. Since President Trump has gotten back in the White House for the last 6.5 months, actually maybe 7 months now, 6 months, whatever it is, our border crossings are pretty much zero. Pretty much nobody is coming across the border. Trump is finally enforcing our pre-existing federal immigration legislation. This is something that Biden and the Democrats just decided not to do. We have federal immigration legislation. It's been there for a long time. Biden and the Democrats, they just decided not to enforce it. And they also spent 2 years in 2023 and 2024 saying that in order to secure the border, we need a new bipartisan border bill. Do you remember that? Bipartisan border bill, bipartisan border bill, bipartisan border bill. It's the only way. As it would turn out, that was a load of bullshit. As it would turn out, we actually didn't need this brand new bipartisan border bill. As it would turn out, all they had to do was enforce the pre-existing federal immigration legislation and use the resources they already had, which is what President Trump has done, and that's why the border is shut down. Deportations are underway. President Trump is deporting around 1,500 people a day so far. We have 4,500 ICE agents. 4,500. The big, beautiful bill is going to hire another 10,000. Okay? So we are about to have over 3 times as many ICE agents. So deportations are underway. They're targeting the most violent, aggressive, heinous people. But if you're one of these guys, and I would say that I'm one of these guys also. Hey, listen, we're not deporting enough people. We need more deportations. Guess what? That's what the bill does. That's what the big, beautiful bill does. That's one of the parts of the bill. We're about to over triple our ICE agents. We're getting another 3,500 DHS agents, and we're getting another 3,500 border security agents. These are good things. Also, we had a report come out from the Department of Labor about 3 weeks ago now, saying that between March and the middle of June, this is about a 3-month window, that over 1 million foreign-born laborers have left the workforce. Why might in the last 3 months have over 1 million foreign-born laborers left the workforce? Why? Folks, these are self-deportations. These are illegal aliens that have come in the country to take American jobs from American workers, and now they are leaving because the situation in this nation has gotten so hostile towards illegal aliens. If you're an illegal alien in this country, it's not very fun right now. You've got to be worried about ICE raids, random ICE raids all across the country. You've got to be worried about your entitlements, your American taxpayer-funded entitlements are getting cut off. Your Medicaid, your Social Security, all this stuff, your food stamps, you're getting cut off. Your jobs are getting taken. You're getting deported. And so a lot of these people are just self-deporting. And this is from the Department of Labor, which is a left-leaning organization, by the way. The Department of Labor, when they published this report about 3 weeks ago, they were actually like crying about it. They're saying, oh, the evil President Trump, his policies, they've caused over 1 million foreign-born laborers to leave the country. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. Oh, the economy is going to come crashing down. So the Department of Labor, when they published these numbers, they weren't pushing some pro-Trump propaganda narrative. Okay, if you can call it that. They were actually saying, oh, Trump is evil. It's the end of the world. Over 1 million people have left the country. So that actually kind of makes me trust that number even more, because they were mad about it. They were trying to say, this is how many people left, and this is why Trump is bad. Okay, over 1 million. As we've seen in the Mexican repatriation program of the 1920s and 1930s, and also Operation Wetback in 1954. We know these numbers are the case. Every time you have a mass deportation program, once again, 1920s, 1930s, and 1954, and now going on now, for every one person you deport, 10 people self-deport. Imagine, I think this makes sense. If you make the country incredibly hostile, if you make it very difficult or scary or dangerous or hostile to be an illegal alien in the country, a lot of these people, they're here for economic reasons. They're here to make money, to send the money back. They're trying to get a job or get entitlements. They're trying to get free stuff. If you cut them off, if you say, listen, no money for you, then they don't have a purpose to be here. They leave. Okay. And we've seen this time and time again. We've got 2 historical precedents for this, and now it's happening again right now. Self-deportations are through the roof. We know that Department of Labor data as of 3 weeks ago. On top of that, everybody knows Trump's economy is on fire. The economy is on fire right now. That's just undeniable. We have 5 consecutive months of just astounding monthly job reports. Every single month, the Labor Bureau releases a job report. How many jobs were created? How many new jobs? What sectors are the jobs in? How's the inflation rate? All of these American job market economic metrics. Every single month we get a new report. We now have 5 consecutive reports of these monthly job reports, just blowing the expectations out of the water. Okay. The stock market is on fire. Inflation is down. Job creation is through domestic, public sector job create. This means not government jobs, actual real, American business job creation is through the roof. And on top of that, Trump's tariffs are also just killing it. So far, in the last couple of months, they've taken over $100 billion in tariff revenue. Tariff revenue is through the roof right now also. In fact, tariff revenue is up like by a factor of like 20 or 25. Okay, we're every month we're setting tariff revenue records. Tariff revenue is absolutely astounding, and also a lot of these tariffs aren't even in full effect. The deadline is August 1st for a lot of these countries, and so tariff revenue hasn't even peaked yet, and it's already like times 25 setting national records. So it's nuts. Okay, those are the positives. I wanted to go through I wanted to say these are things that I love about how things are going so far, okay? Because now that we've gone through some of these positives, we are going to get to the what? We're going to get to the negatives, talking specifically about some things that I did not like in this cabinet meeting today. Now we're going to talk about the negatives. So first off, let us remind ourselves that one of President Trump's campaign promises was releasing the Epstein files and releasing the Epstein client list and holding people accountable. He said that he was going to do that numerous times. I personally watched almost every single, I would say probably every single one, every single campaign rally that President Trump had, every single interview that President Trump gave, you name it, and I think that I have probably seen it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same category as well. We're up to speed on this. This is something he swore up and down. He promised on this over and over again. Beyond that, Kash Patel swore up and down on this. Dan Bongino swore up and down on this. Pamela Bondi, our Attorney General, swore up and down on this. We had Alina Habba swore up and down on this. And now we're just being told pretty much to shut up. Now it's like, hey, listen, guess what? Actually, there was no blackmail. There was no client list. Jeffrey Epstein was just trafficking people for no reason he was trafficking people for no reason and also trafficking people to nobody. There were no clients. Actually, it's even worse. They actually said there is a client list, but that nothing on the client list is incriminating, and so therefore the American people don't get to see it. They said there is a client list. That was in the memo they released yesterday. It was a joint memo from the DOJ and the FBI. There is a memo, there is a client list, but they have taken it upon themselves. They've determined that nothing is incriminating on the list at all, and so therefore nobody here gets to look at it, despite them promising over and over and over again numerous times. I see this massive super chat from Q, from Q the Storm, from Q, Patriots, stand by. He says, enjoy, Matt, never stop being yourself, give him hell, Ricky Wally. Ricky Wally, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Listen, I love this, we have one hell of, you agree, we have one hell of a community here, so thank you all very much for tuning in. It's guys like you, it's guys like all these people in the chat, the lovely men and women of this community. We've got one hell of a community here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. We have some of the smartest. Listen, I'm not blowing smoke up your guys' ass here, but listen, I really think we have one of the smartest communities out there. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's a massive super chat. I appreciate that a lot. You can tell that there are a couple people in President Trump's cabinet that are pissed off about this. You can tell some people are pissed off about this, namely Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, I'm not a behavioral psychologist, but I can look at the room. I can read people's body language a little bit. You're looking at this cabinet meeting. Tulsi Gabbard is sitting way down at the end of the table, and even at that, she's distanced. She's like moved her chair further out, and she's sitting there the entire cabinet meeting. She's not happy. Tulsi Gabbard is not happy. Now, take that for what you will. Maybe you don't care about that. Who cares? I don't know. But anyway, you can tell Tulsi Gabbard is a little bit pissed off. Why? I would personally speculate it's because of the way that this Epstein situation has been handled. Tulsi Gabbard knows everything. She knows all the details here. Why? Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence. If there is something to know, she knows it. She's the one that knows it. She knows all of it. She is the DNI. Her job is to know this stuff. She's the director of national intelligence, appointed by President Trump, confirmed by the Senate, by the Republican Senate. Tulsi Gabbard is not happy. Pam Bondi is very clearly lying. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Pam Bondi is very clearly lying about this. She was going on and on and on. You guys have all seen the clips. We played a couple of them yesterday. Go check yesterday's broadcast. I can think of 4 different interviews she has given on video where she said, "Listen, yeah, it's on my desk. We're going to put it out. It's my." In fact, she was saying that it was on her day one agenda. Day one. President Trump gets in the White House, you guys will have the list. The list is yours. Transparency, transparency, transparency. Not Tulsi Gabbard. Pam Bondi was swearing up and down on this for months. And now it's suddenly, oh, I never said you're going to have the client list. I said that I had the files on my desk and I went through them and nothing was incriminating. So now nobody gets to see it. The narrative has shifted a little bit. President Trump. You guys saw, I saw the chat blew up here. The live chat, that's you guys, you guys were on fire when this happened during this cabinet meeting. Somebody in the media press, in the media corps, they asked President Trump, hey, what about the Epstein stuff? And President Trump, I'm going to say, frankly, it was a little bit offensive. I'm going to be honest. What he said, if you remember, he said, listen, are you guys really asking about this Epstein stuff? Really? Does anybody even care about this? Do we really even need to be talking about this? It's 2025, guys. The year is 2025. Do we really need to talk about this Epstein stuff? Come on. Really? That was effectively President Trump's response. Maybe we can pull up the video and play it again here in a minute. Listen, this is how I feel. You guys can disagree. If I love somebody, if I cherish somebody, if I value somebody, I feel like a part of that love and cherish and valuation is being blunt and honest and giving them your opinion and your honest, unrestricted opinion. You know what I mean? And can that get you in trouble? Sometimes, yeah, I guess, but it's out of respect. It's out of respect and love and value and share that I say, listen, I got to give my opinion here. I got to be honest. I'm not gonna no, everything. No, everything is fine. Everything is all good. You need to be honest with the people that you respect and that you value. That's how I maintain my relationship with my wife and my family and my brother and my friends. If you care about somebody, you got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. And so that's what I'm doing here with Trump. I think that was a bad answer. That was a bad response. This is something that he campaigned on for a long time. And now I'm seeing this opinion all over the place that, oh, well, who really cares about the Epstein list? We've got bigger issues. I agree with you. I agree with you. Frankly, carrying out mass deportations and fixing the economy and doing all this other stuff, this is, I think, in a lot of ways more important than the Epstein list. But also, if we want to be able to in good faith say the phrase promises made, promises kept, you got to keep the promises. We can't keep going around saying promises made, promises kept. This Epstein thing was a big promise. It was undeniably. I can show you 100 different clips of when this promise was made by Trump and other people that are now in Trump's cabinet. If we want to sincerely say promises made, promises kept, the promises have got to be kept. The other thing here is that if politics is like a board game, if there's a strategy here, if this is a game and you're trying to win it, and we want to keep control of the country. We don't want to let the Democrats get control. What are the Democrats going to do? What is the Democrat response to this Epstein situation? You know for a fact that they are campaigning on this now. You know. In fact, I'm sure if you open up Twitter, I'm sure they're already doing it. Oh, Trump is concealing the Epstein stuff, blah, 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 blah. This is why we need to vote out the Republicans in midterms. This is why Trump has got to go. He is complicit in the Epstein thing, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm seeing some. Now, let me flip this, though. That's what the Democrats are saying, and I want to be clear. I don't agree with it. Check this out. If Trump was implicated in this Epstein stuff, you can bet your ass that the Democrats would have released his name, would have leaked that information on the 2024 campaign trail. Hello, guys, wake up. The Democrats were in control of the country 9 months ago. They just lost an election. They knew that the Democrats know everything that's in these files also. They had access to them. They knew what's up. If Trump was implicated in anything in these files, don't you think? Because they tried they tried to kill the freaking guy. Listen, they stole the election in 2020. They tried to shoot this guy in the damn head. They did every single thing. They lied, they smeared, they besmirched, they defamed this guy as much as they possibly could. Don't you think that they would have released this if they had dirt on him with the Epstein stuff? Don't you think they would have dropped that info? They would have selectively released that info? Don't you think? Use your brain here, okay? So personally, you disagree if you want. This is my opinion. I don't think that Epstein is criminally. I don't think that Trump is criminally implicated in any of these files. However, I think a lot of other people are. I think there are some big names on both the left and I think a lot of people are implicated in this Epstein file, on this Epstein client list. And so it's less about Trump and it's more about a lot of other people, both on the left and the right. Think about this for a second. Why now? Okay, is it fair to say that the Republicans, that Trump is now complicit in covering up the Epstein files? Yeah, I think so. I think it's fair. I mean, of course, it's obviously fair to say that. They are complicit in obscuring this information or keeping this information from us. Obviously, that's the truth. And so let's think for a second. Why are now both the Democrats and the Republicans, who, by the way, hate each other, who would be happy to see each other die, they hate each other with a passion. Why are both of them now doing the same thing, covering up these files? It's because there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle here that are implicated in these files. That's why. You've got names on both. Listen, when you've got something that the Democrats and the Republicans agree on, they say, hey, listen, hands off, we're not touching this. It's because they know everybody goes up in flames. Both sides go up in flames if this stuff gets released. Everybody. Or rather, enough people that they say hands off. We now know that this 10-hour-long prison cell footage that the FBI released yesterday, bullshit. They said, hey, everybody, look, this is how we know that Epstein killed himself, that nobody went in and out of that prison cell. Take a look at this 10-hour-long piece of footage we have from the night that he died. Listen, the footage didn't even show Epstein's prison cell. The door into Epstein's prison cell wasn't even viewable. It wasn't even in the footage. This footage that they released was intentionally deceptive. The door you're looking at and that footage, we all looked at it the other day, that's not the door into Epstein's cell. Epstein's cell is down below on another level. Go down a hallway, take a right. Okay? We mapped all of this out the other day. Epstein's cell, prison door, he's not even in the footage. You wouldn't even know if anybody went in and out of that prison cell. Also, then you have this missing minute, the missing magic minute. Pam Bondi says that, oh, well, it's a camera from 1999. You know, it's like that every single night. Oh, that's just how it is. The magic missing minute. Yeah, okay. Well, that aside, the cell door isn't even in the video. The footage, whether it's missing 1 minute or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 100 minutes, it doesn't matter because it's not even looking at the damn door. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Also, hey, just obvious question, pointing out the obvious here. If there's no client list, if nobody on the, well, if there is a client list, but nobody is incriminated on the client list, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Keep in mind, Miss Maxwell got convicted 5 federal charges. She's now in prison for 20 years. She's got 5 federal felony charges, convictions, all related to human child sex trafficking. Okay. And then you have to ask the question, well, who did she traffic to? Why did she traffic? If we know that she did, why did she traffic? To whom did she traffic? Well, nobody, don't worry. Keep in mind, everybody's using this term client list. Client list. What does it mean to be a client? A client is somebody that buys something. If I go to Home Depot and I buy a shovel, I'm a Home Depot client. I bought a shovel for $25. I'm a Home Depot client. A client means you have made a purchase. You have purchased something. Okay, well, if you're on the Epstein client list, what did you purchase? You purchased what Epstein and Maxwell were selling, which is human traffic, child, whatever. We all know. And so you're telling me that this client list, that yes, there is in fact a client list, but that none of them are guilty, that nothing criminal happened? There was criminal behavior by nature of the client list existing. The fact that there is a client list at all means that crimes were committed. That's the necessary implication. The fact that there is a list at all, period, means that crimes were committed. So that's the whole Epstein situation. Obviously, this is a cover-up. This is a cover-up. We're being lied to, obviously, clearly. I mean, that's just undeniable. It is what it is. Are we ever gonna get the truth here? Keep in mind, guys, you know, there was a cover-up on the JFK assassination for like 60 or 70 years. How long? I don't know. And even then, I think still a lot is unknown. So, guys, this Epstein thing, I might be a dead man. I'm 31 right now. I might die at age 85 or 90. Who knows? Hopefully, I live that long. And I might never know. We the American people might never know here. Okay, it might be one of those cases. They're gonna have the Epstein conspiracy. What went on here? Moving on. Also at this cabinet meeting, we are talking about this amnesty program for illegal alien farm workers. That is, we're being told, is not an amnesty program. It's not an amnesty program, but maybe it kind of is. We heard a lot from Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins. So what she's saying is that this is not an amnesty. They don't like the A word. You guys understand the A word, amnesty, is a very bad word. And why? Because in 1986, Ronald Reagan granted amnesty with Republican Congress to a little bit over 3 million illegal aliens, 1986, around 3.1 million illegal aliens. They granted amnesty. So what does amnesty mean? Amnesty means now you're in the country, you can stay here legally, you are now a legal resident, and as part of the Ronald Reagan 1986 amnesty program, They also granted them a pathway to citizenship. So all of these people that had illegally invaded the country prior to 1986, they were allowed to stay in the country legally, and they were granted a pathway to citizenship. Okay, what happened 6 years later in 1992? What happened in 1992? Well, guess what? California flipped to a blue state, and it's been a blue state ever since. Most of these illegal aliens that Ronald Reagan granted amnesty to in 1986 lived in California. They were all over the country, but most of them, like 2/3 of them, lived in California. It's right on the border. Well, guess what? Prior to 1986, California had been a red stronghold. It had been a red state for decades and decades and decades. Within 6 years of Ronald Reagan granting amnesty to over 3 million illegal aliens, California flips blue. It's been blue ever since. Imagine that. And why? Because it's the Democrats that are the ones that are offering free shit to the illegal aliens. The illegal aliens know, oh, if we vote Democrat, oh, the Democrats, they're going to put us on Medicaid. They're going to give us Social Security. They're going to allow us to stay in the country. They're going to allow us to bring our families into the country. All of this stuff. You have train illegal migration. And so the Democrats, they seized this opportunity, and this is a problem that we are still dealing with, this California flipping as a consequence of Ronald Reagan's amnesty program in 1986. Guys, this is one of the biggest political disasters, political mistakes of the second half of the 20th century. It is. This is a problem. California flipping from deep red into now deep blue as a consequence of this amnesty program. This is a problem that is still plaguing this nation to this very day. California used to be one of the best states in the country, and now it is what it is. And now it is what it is. And now the Democrats have a free 54 electoral college votes. Okay, think about that. Big freaking problem. Massive problem. And so now we're talking about doing something similar again. Now, the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, just today, during this cabinet meeting, is saying, well, listen, we have all of these illegal alien farm workers right now. By the way, we have around 1.5 million illegal alien farm workers in the country. 1.5 million. That's the best data I've been able to find. I looked at this last night. Around 1.5 million illegal alien farm workers, allegedly. And listen, if we just get rid of all of, some of them have been in the country for 10, 5, 15, 20 years. They're good, hardworking people. And if we get rid of them, then our farming, our agricultural sector is going to implode. We don't have the people to do this, and so we can't just get rid of these people. And so she's saying, what she said today was explicitly, it's not amnesty, but rather we need to allow farmers to keep their workers. What does that mean? If these workers here are illegal aliens, and we're going to allow the farmers to keep their workers, what does that mean? So if it's not amnesty, by the way, an amnesty program that Ronald Reagan passed, that actually has to be approved by Congress. You have to go through the House and the Senate, and it has to be signed off by the president. That's how Reagan did this in 1986. Seems like what Trump is trying to do, maybe, we got to see what happens here. Maybe he's going to try to give these people some type of work visa or something. Maybe he doesn't let them stay here permanently forever like Ronald Reagan did with a pathway to citizenship on the back end. Also, maybe this is some type of work visa program. Is this what we voted for? No, it's not. Also, by the way, before we get into what the people want, what the American people want, and what the American people voted for, let's put some numbers on the table regarding these illegal alien farm workers. I did a bunch of digging into the data. In fact, I'm going to make a video about this later today. The second I go offline with today's broadcast, I'm going to have a deep dive video on my YouTube channel talking about this topic exactly. Now, illegal alien farm workers, according to the best government stats I can find, they get paid about 8% less than actual American citizen farm workers or legal farm workers. 8%. And so right now, big agriculture, if you can call it that, the agricultural lobby, they are pushing the Trump admin to allow this 1.5 million, maybe more, illegal alien farm workers in the country so that they can maintain their 8% profit margin. They can get away with paying these people 8% less. Okay, that's what the data says. That's what I've seen at least. Now, here's the problem. All of this is predicated on this narrative that, well, Americans don't just want to do this work. Americans don't want to work on farms. Americans won't do it. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody's from the country or if anybody has family members from the country. That is bullshit. Every single person in my family, white Americans, my mom, my dad, I had a stepdad, uncle, grandfather, okay, my cousin. I worked on farms for a year when I was young. Literally, I did it. And I'm 31. Americans will work on farms. In fact, that's how we've always done. Americans work on farms. The deal is Americans don't want to work on farms for slave labor, for slave wages. Okay. So this entire, Americans don't want to do it. This is a lie. This is a lie that has been fabricated and created out of thin air to justify allowing millions and millions of illegal alien laborers into the country that they can get away with paying 8% or more less than Americans. So once again, this is, in this case, big agriculture deciding to screw over Americans, to screw over American culture, to screw over American homogeneity, to screw over American society, to put American lives at risk by opening up the border to allow cheap labor to come flooding into the country. Okay? And this is a lie that Americans don't want to do this. Americans have historically always done this. I'm sure you have done it. I'm sure your family members have done it. I have done it personally. And all of my family members grew up in the country working on farms. From the age of 13 or 14 or 15, it was their high school job. It's harvest season, whatever. Guess what? They've got part-time jobs working on the farm. This is how it's operated for a very long time. But the problem is you have to pay Americans an actual legal wage. You can't get away with paying them under the table, okay? Which is what's going on here. So this is a lie. This is a lie. And I think everybody with half a brain knows it. I think everybody with half a brain knows it. So no, the question was, is this what we voted for? We voted for mass deportations. Every single one of these people that have illegally invaded our country has got to go. That is what we voted for. Get all of them out. I don't care if it's a grandma. I don't care if it's your sick, illegal, alien grandma who spent 20 years working on a farm and now she's 87 and she's been in the country illegally for 35 years. Don't care. Guess what, Ablela? Adios. Vamonos. Get out. I don't care. The point of what? Listen, the point of coddling this situation is over. Get the hell out of the country. All of them have to go. That's what we voted for. Every single one of them. If we don't maintain our nation's autonomy, and more importantly, sovereignty, if we don't maintain American sovereignty, then we don't have a nation. Then we don't have a nation. No sovereignty, no border security, no legal vetting process. Don't have a nation. Get out. They have to go. All of them have to go. And by the way, this is what Americans voted for. I watched literally every single President Trump campaign rally, and every single time we're talking about, quote, mass deportations, not selective deportations, not a couple deportations, not deportations over here, but not deportations over there. Mass deportations. All of them have got to go. Every single one of them has got to go. They all have to go. We got to get our country back. Our country's been invaded and we got to get it back, and that's what we have voted for. And also, by the way, this is not some radical fringe opinion that I have. I want to show you guys a video clip here. This is a spoiler from the video that I'm going to make later today. Check this out. Look at this. Hold up here. I want to show you guys something here. Got my headset off. I mean, we don't even need to play the audio. Guys, this is a poll. This is actually a series of polls conducted over the last month. You have 4 of them. New York Times, Marquette, CBS, ABC News. Deport all illegal immigrants that are here illegally. 4 different polls being reported by none other than CNN. Should President Trump deport all, not a couple, not a few, not selectively, all? Should President Trump do that? 55%, 64%, 57%, 56%. This is a bipartisan agreement This isn't 49%. The Republicans agree it, but the Democrats don't. Guys, you have a huge portion of even the Democrats. Even the Democrats, all the Republicans and even the Democrats have agreed these people have got to go. This is what we voted for. This is what we voted for. They got to go. Get them out of here. That's what we voted for. Anyway, stolen land. Actually, get it right. Conquered land. We conquered it. You lost. We won. It's our land. Conquered. Get it right, bitch. Conquered. Stolen. From who? We conquered it. You don't like it? Too bad. Get out. Moving on. Now, we're going to talk about Ukraine here for a minute. Sorry, I get a little bit heated. I'm such a zealous, proud American. Oh, you stole our land. Oh, you stole it. Yeah, well then do something about it, loser. Loser. If I had a time machine, I would go back and I would help my ancestors conquer it again. And also, I'm not apologetic about it at all. If I had a time machine right now, I would hop in the time machine, I'd go back and I'd help them do it. I'm proud of it. I fully endorse it. Conquest, baby. Let's go. America first. You don't like it, go cry about it somewhere else. Too bad. You lose. Anyway, we have a massive super chat here. I'm gonna put my webcam back up here. There we go. Okay. Listen, guys, the era of American guilt, of American apologetics, these humiliation rituals. You're a white American, so you need to feel bad about something, something, something. You're an American patriot, so you need to feel bad about something, something, something. Shut up. I don't care. No, I endorse all of it. Too bad. Deal with it. Too bad. The era of guilt, the era of humiliation ritual. Listen, this is America first. This is American pride. We are proud to be Americans. We are proud of our history. I'm not going to apologize to a goddamn illegal alien that has invaded my country about what my ancestors did 100 years ago or 150 years ago. You're just going to have to go cry somewhere else. You got to deal with it. Too bad. Too bad. That's too damn bad. Anyway, let me take a look at this. Let me go take a look at this. Raya says, "Great work, Matt. Keep talking truth. Best channel." Thank you, Raya. Thank you very much. You're one of the big time members of this community. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What a day. What a crazy day. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a wild day. We're gonna move on. Let's talk about Ukraine. Trump has said today at this cabinet meeting that he's going to start sending weapons again to Ukraine. There's been a little bit of a spending freeze, a little bit of a freeze in the support going to Ukraine. Trump has kind of cut Ukraine off the tit, so to speak, and now we've gone back on that. Now we are going to start sending more weapons. As he says, more defense weapons, because Russia is just running the show. Frankly, Ukraine is not doing too well, and Russia is calling the shots. Putin, at this point, if you guys have been following along the Ukrainian situation, it seems like Putin is pretty much totally unwilling to come back to the negotiating table at this point. Probably why? Why is Putin unwilling to come back to the negotiating table at this point? Well, it's because he's at war. He is leading a war effort right now versus Ukraine, and he seems to think he's winning. You know, Putin is, I guess, you know, obviously this is not an endorsement of Putin or anything that's going on in this war. Putin seems to think he's winning. As such, he doesn't want to surrender because he thinks he can get more. He wants more. He wants to lock down this territory in eastern Ukraine, maybe take more, who knows, and he thinks he can do that. He thinks he's going to be able to do that. He thinks that he is winning, that he has the upper hand here. And so he's not looking to de-escalate at the moment. He's not looking to walk away from this because he thinks he's winning. And frankly, he is winning. He is probably winning. That seems to be the case. Now, I'm going to tell you what's up. This is my opinion. Once again, you feel free to disagree. I'm just a guy on the internet, so who knows? But listen, at this point, I think we can say in good faith, President Trump has done his absolute best to de-escalate this situation. He has done everything you possibly can. The United States of America as a country, let's say the American taxpayers, that's us, you guys pay taxes. The American taxpayers, we have given Ukraine, as President Trump said today, $300 billion. $300 billion worth of support, aid, humanitarian assistance, weapons, defensive and offensive weapons, $300 billion out of the pocket of the American taxpayer to fund and to subsidize the defense of Ukraine, a country, excuse me, halfway across the world. We've done enough. That's my opinion. We've done enough. Listen, we have dumped $1/3 trillion into this war effort. We are now over, three and a half years later. This thing is still going on. President Trump got back in the White House. He has spent 6 months trying to, he's met with both of these guys. He's talked to both of these guys numerous times. It's not happening. It's either this side or it's that side, or sometimes it's both sides. Sometimes Ukraine doesn't want to de-escalate. Sometimes Russia doesn't want to de-escalate. Sometimes neither of them want to de-escalate. It's gone back and forth. Either way, it hasn't happened. My opinion, listen, we don't have any obligation to solve this issue. We don't, really. We are America. We're over here. This is not our job. President Trump, America has gotten involved in this to show support. President Trump has tried to de-escalate the situation out of the goodness of his own heart. It's not his job. It's not his obligation. His obligation is to the American people living here in America. The American people sure could use $300 billion. We've got crumbling infrastructure. We've got a border wall to build. We've got all types of issues. We have our own. We've got veterans living on the side of the road. We've got homeless issue. We've got a drug crisis. All this stuff. Okay? We've got violence, whatever. We got to fix our own country. America first. That's the motto. America first. Now, I think it's time we walk away. We should walk away. Dumping another $100 billion. I think we should walk away. It's not our situation. We tried. We really tried. We made a concerted effort. We tried. Out of the goodness of our heart, we tried to help, and it's not working out. So I think we should walk away. And NATO, you know what? Like President Trump said today, the NATO countries have given about $100 billion. The U.S. has given 100 to 300. If you expect us to believe, if you expect the American taxpayers to believe that if we don't stop Ukraine right now, that they're going to run all the way through if we don't stop Russia right now, that they're going to run right through Ukraine, into Poland, into Germany, into France, they're going to conquer the entire Western European continent, then why are they not spending more money? Then why have they only spent, because they're the ones that are allegedly directly at risk here. They're the ones that are allegedly at risk of losing their continent, right? So then why have we spent 3 times more on this than they have? Why are we footing the bill if this is really their problem? Listen, hey, I think we've done enough. That's my opinion. Now, folks, that's kind of my thoughts here. Okay, I told you, listen, I want to double back to what I said before we got into all of this. In my opinion, the most fundamental thing that differentiates us Republican conservative voters here on the right side of the aisle, us red voters on the side of the aisle, that differentiates us from the radical far left progressives over there, is that we are capable of critically thinking and reflecting and looking at our own problems on our own party, on our own side of the aisle, and addressing them. We can have these adult, honest, earnest conversations about the problems that we have, okay? We're able to be self-critical and introspective and say, listen, this is not right. This is a problem. We got to fix this. We got to improve this. That's something we uniquely can do that never happens on the progressive left. Never happens. Are they ever critical of themselves? No, of course not. They turn all of their own problems, they turn a blind eye. No introspection, no self-criticality. And so I have to do call out here. I have to call this out. Some people I see them in the live chat or on Twitter or whatever, and they say, hey, shut up, stop asking questions. You need to sit down and shut up and trust the plan. No input, no commentary. I see that from people that are allegedly over here on the right with us, and I say, man, you are lost in the plot. The reason why we got President Trump in the first place is because we were critical of the rhinos and the neocons. This criticality, this introspection, this dissatisfaction with the status quo, that's why we got Trump in the first place. Hey, you need to sit down and shut up and never ask any questions and just shut the hell up. Listen, man, that might have been how stuff operated 20, 30, 40 years ago. I don't know how some people did it back in the old days. We don't do that these days. These days, listen, we are smart. We're on the ball. We're paying attention. We're asking questions. We're saying, what's up? Okay, we got a problem, this problem, that problem. We got to fix it. That's how we're doing things these days. That's why we got Trump in the first place. And thank God for that. Now, I've heard some people talk about the America Party. Elon Musk's America Party. Listen, this is not the solution. Okay, I'm not an America Party guy. This whole Elon Musk thing. Elon Musk, we know Elon Musk is in favor of a never-ending flow of H-1B visa Indian workers coming into our country. You might remember in December, 8 months ago, Elon Musk had this absolute meltdown on Twitter, on X. Anybody that had the audacity to critique his army of H-1B Indian workers, he was calling them a retard. He was calling them all types of people, all types of bad words. Elon Musk was melting down. If Elon Musk and the America Party get control of the country, are we ever getting mass deportations? Do you think Elon Musk gives one crap about mass deportations and maintaining American culture and American homogeneity? No, listen, no. The degree to which a guy like Elon Musk cares about America is the degree to which he can make money in America. Listen, you call me old-fashioned, I don't know. There are things about America that are more important than our capacity to make money in America. America is not a rootless economic zone. We are a unique people with a unique culture, with a unique shared heritage. We have a unique set of values and principles and beliefs that set us apart. We are different than the rest of the world. And that's why we say America first, America number one, because we are different. We have a different mindset, a different philosophy. Okay. And if you have this like kind of tech bro mindset come in, you're never getting deportations. The border might as well be open. We're having millions of H-1B Indians come in the country, replacing American workers, as has already been happening for a long time, mind you. American culture, American civilization, American homogeneity, our shared collective American identity slowly is rotting away. And I mean, this is already what's happening anyway. This is why we have to solve this immigration crisis, this illegal immigration crisis. I mean, hey, who here is a bit older? Maybe you're 70 or 80 tuning into the show. I know you guys are out there. Is America different today in 2025 than it was in 1955 or 1965? The answer is hell yeah. Hell yes, it is different. Why do you think that is? Might it be because half the country speaking Spanish and you got these people speaking Indian and you like, guys, listen. Can I give you an example of the way in which the country is changing? One moment. One moment. I want to show you something. Listen, this is going to probably come as a surprise to some of you guys. You guys might not have seen this. Folks, let me introduce you to this here on screen. This is the largest statue in the state of Texas. This is Texas. The largest statue monument in the entire state of Texas was built by a bunch of Indian Hindu immigrants in the last couple years. This is the single largest statue in Texas, and it is in devotion of a Hindu demon god, of a Hindu demon monkey god. Okay, so when we're talking about the ways in which, American culture is changing, here's a very in your face example. Just as a little example. Is that a demon? Yeah, of course it's a demon. Of course, obviously it's a demon god. Okay, and so this stuff, things like this is only going to start picking up in speed. I see some guy says, so what? Who cares if America becomes a Hindu nation and you've got Hindu demon god altars and effigies all over the country? Who cares? That's what our founding fathers fought and died for. Our founding fathers fought and died so that this nation could be a Hindu demon god worshiping country. That's what George Washington would have wanted. Really? Seriously? Really? Listen, our founding fathers would be turning in their graves if they saw the current state of this country. This whole mindset of who cares? It doesn't personally affect you. Who cares? Listen, have you guys heard this trope? It goes, weak men create bad times create hard men or strong men create good times create weak men. It's a cycle. It's a 4-stage cycle. Weak men, bad times, strong men, good times, weak men. Okay? It's the perpetuating cycle. Well, guess what? You want to know why? We've had some pretty bad times as of late. You want to know why? It's because we had an entire generation of weak men. I'm just going to call it, I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to be a dickhead here. I'm going to be brutal. The reason why things have gotten so bad in this country is because we've had an entire generation, maybe two, of weak men that have turned a blind eye to the invasion of this country, to the selling out of our country, to the overturning of our country, of American culture, of American civil society. Now is the time for strong men. This whole mindset, oh, who cares? It doesn't impact you. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Listen, that mindset of burying your head in the sand and turning a blind eye to the invasion of the country and the ripping apart of our American national fabric, that mindset has directly caused all of the problems we have now. Okay, so I'm telling you, listen, I don't know what it is, but listen, the strong men are back. The strong men are back. This weak man mindset of turning a blind eye and saying, oh, it's not a big deal, it doesn't matter. That's done. That's over. The strong men are back. The strong men are back in the driver's seat. We're taking the country back. You can either get with it or you can get the hell out of the way. But either way, it's over. This era of weak men is over. We're taking the country back. I'm sorry. That's what's happening. Now, folks, this has been like probably a 3-hour broadcast. I can't even yeah, something like that. Something like that. Hey, I need to wrap it up. I need to go spend some time with my family. We have a puppy in the house. We have a young puppy in the house. I need to get to work. I need to make a video here for you guys, so you guys have something to watch later today. This has been a long show. I want to thank everybody here for tuning in. Real quick, guys, and ladies, if you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Please like today's video. And also, on a final note, if you guys have not already, please do me a favor and make sure to follow on Twitter. Following on Twitter is a big deal. That helps a lot. It really, really helps a lot. I need to have some breakfast. I'm hungry, man. Thank you, guys. Listen, we're not down. We're not out. We're taking the country back. It's true. We're not done. We're just getting started. We are just getting started. Are there going to be some speed bumps and roadblocks along the way? Yeah, there always will be, of course. But we're just getting started. It's not over. We're getting started, folks. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I am out of here. God bless everybody.